Hello, friends and lovers, and welcome back. We are moving swiftly on to Henry Henry the Fourth, Part 2. We're cracking right on. The lads are back. The boys are back in town for Henry the Fourth, Part 2. If you're just joining us, for some reason, I'm reading the complete works of Shakespeare live all weekend, probably till about Tuesday night, to raise money for the Samaritans. They're an incredibly good charity. They're a charity that saved my life once upon a time. They help people in emotional distress, more famously through their suicide hotline. And they're just a really, really worthy cause. I've actually been in touch with them. They're really, really grateful to have all of your support, and they're just like really grateful for everyone who's been supporting the stream. Yeah. So thanks. They're loving it. I can see some people in the chat who are like, I thought we were doing this one next. Yeah, the running order that somehow got leaked is like very loose, and we're changing it up to make sure that like guests are available. So we bumped Timon. We don't know where Timon's going to end up, if anywhere. Like some of them are definitely going to end up getting cut. So we'll do Henry the Fourth Part 2, then Measure for Measure, then probably Midsummer Night's Dream. It's about like balancing when people are available in different time zones to come and be guests. But thank you to everyone for your donations. We have now raised almost $36,000. It's fast approaching 36. Yeah, it's gonna be absolutely wild.
Probably gonna get 100K.
That would be nice. Somebody says don't do Merchant of Venice. No way! I love the Merchant of Venice. It's one of my faves. It'd be great.
Ready?
Okie dokie. Let's crack on with Henry the Fourth, Part 2, the quickening. Okie dokie. I don't actually know Henry the Fourth, Part 2. I don't know it all that well. Apparently the character of Rumour, the presenter, comes in. I'm imagining something like the costume I used in my last video, some sort of like very veiled, shifting, weird, sequiny thing. And Rumour says, "Open your ears, for which of you will stop the vent of hearing when loud Rumour speaks? I from the Orient to the drooping West, making the wind my post-horse still unfold, the acts commenced on this ball of earth, upon my tongue continual slanders ride, the which in every language I pronounce, stuffing the ears of them with false reports. I speak of peace, while covert enmity under the smile of safety wounds the world. And who but Rumour, who but only I, make fearful musters and prepared defence, whilst the big year, swollen with some other griefs, is thought with child by the stern tyrant War, and no such matter. Rumour is a pipe, blown by surmises, jealousies, conjectures, and of so easy and so plain a stop that the blunt monster with uncounted heads, the still discordant wavering multitude, can play upon it. But what need I thus, my well-known body to anatomise among my household? Why is Rumour here? I run before King Harry's victory, who in a bloody field in Shrewsbury hath beaten down young Hotspur and his troops, quenching the flame of bold rebellion even with the rebels' blood. But what mean I to speak so true at first? My office is to noise abroad that Harry Monmouth fell under the wrath of noble Hotspur's sword, and that the king before the Douglas rage stooped his anointed head as low as death. This have I rumoured through the peasant towns, between the royal field of Shrewsbury and this worm-eaten hold of Ragged Stone, where Hotspur's father, old Northumberland, lies crafty sick. The posts come tiring on. He can't stop posting. The posts come tiring on, and not a man of them brings other news than they have learned of me. From Rumour's tongues they bring smooth comforts false, worse than true wrongs." In comes Lord Badolf and the porter.
"Who keeps the gate here, ho? Where is the Earl?"
Oh, what shall I say you are?
"Tell thou Earl that the Lord Bardolph doth attend him here."
His lordship is walked forth into the orchard. Please it your honour, knock but at the gate, and he himself will answer. In comes the Duke of Northumberland. Earl of Northumberland.
"Here comes the Earl."
"What news, Lord Bardolph? Every minute now should be the father of some stratagem. The times are wild. Contention like a horse full of high feeding madly hath broke loose, and bears down all before him."
"Noble Earl, I bring you certain news from Shrewsbury."
"Good, and heaven will."
"As good as heart can wish. The king is almost wounded to the death, and in the fortune of my lord your son, Prince Harry slain outright, and both the Blunts killed by the hand of Douglas. Young Prince John and Westmoreland and Stafford fled the field, and Harry Monmouth's brawn, the hulk Sir John, is prisoner to your son. Oh, such a day, so fought, so followed, and so fairly won, came not till now to dignify the times, since Caesar's fortunes.
How is this derived? Saw you the field? Came you from Shrewsbury?
I spake with one, my lord, that came from thence, a gentleman well-bred and of good name, that freely rendered me these news for...
Northumberland. Here comes my servant Travers, whom I sent on Tuesday last to listen after news. In comes Travers, who is also me.
My lord, I overrode him on the way, and he is furnished with no certainties, more than he haply may retail from...
Now, Travers, what good tidings comes from you? My lord, Sir John Umfreville turned me back with joyful tidings, and being better horsed outrode me. After him came spurring hard a gentleman, almost forespent with speed, that stopped by me to breathe his bloodied horse. He asked the way to Chester, and of him I did demand what news from Shrewsbury. He told me that rebellion had ill luck, and that young Harry Percy Spur was called. With that he gave his able horse the head, and bending forward struck his able heels against the panting sides of his poor jade up to the rowel egg, and starting so he seemed in running to devour the way, saying no longer question. Again, said he young Harry Percy Spur was called, of hot spur, cold spur, that rebellion had met ill luck.
My lord, I'll tell you what, if my young lord your son have not the day upon mine honour, for a silken point, I'll give my barony, never talk of it.
Why should the gentleman that rode by Travers give them such instances of loss?
Who? He. He has some hilding fellow that had stolen the horse he rode on. Upon my life spoke at a venture. Look, here comes more news.
Here comes Morton. Yea, this man's brow, like to a title leaf, foretells the nature of a tragic volume. So looks the strand when the imperious flood hath left a witness usurpation. Say, Morton, didst thou come from Shrewsbury?
I ran from Shrewsbury, my noble lord, where hateful death put on his ugliest mask to fight our party.
How doth my son and brother? Thou tremblest, and the whiteness in thy cheek is apter than thy tongue to tell thy errand. Even such a man, so faint, so spiritless, so dull, so dead in look, so woe begone, drew Priam's curtain in the dead of night, and would have told him half his Troy was burned. But Priam found the fire ere he his tongue, and I my Percy's death ere thou report'st it. This thou wouldst say, your son did thus and thus, your brother thus. So thought the noble Douglas, stopping my greedy ear with their bold deeds. But in the end, to stop mine ear indeed, thou hast a sigh to blow away this praise, ending with brother, son, and all are dead.
Douglas is living, and your brother yet, but for my lord, your son.
Why, he is dead. See what a ready tongue suspicion hath. He that but fears the thing he would know not, hath by instinct knowledge from others' eyes, that what is feared is chanced. Yet speak, Morton, tell thou thy earl his divination lies, and I will take it as a sweet disgrace, and make thee rich for doing me such a wrong.
You are too great to be me gainsaid. Your spirit is too true, your fears too certain.
Yet for all this say not that Percy's dead. I see a strange confession in thine eye. Thou shakest thy head, and holdest it fear or sin to speak a truth. If he be slain, say so. The tongue offends not that reports his death, and he doth sin that doth belie the dead. Not he which says the dead is not alive. Yet the first bringer of unwelcome news hath but a losing office, and his tongue sounds ever after as a sullen bell, remembering knolling a departed friend.
I cannot think, my lord, your son is dead.
I am sorry I should force you to believe that which I would to God had not seen, but these mine eyes saw him in a bloody state, rendering faint quittance, worried and outbreathed, to Harry Monmouth, whose swift wrath beat down the never daunted Percy to the earth, from whence with life he never more sprung up. In few his death, whose spirit lent a fire, even to the dullest peasant in his camp, being bruited once, took fire and heat away, from the best tempered courage in his troops, for from his metal was his party steeled, which once in him abated all the rest, turned on themselves like dull and heavy lead, and as the thing that heavy in itself upon enforcement flies with greatest speed, so did our men, heavy in Hotspur's lock, lend to this weight such lightness with their fear, that arrow fled not swifter toward their aim. Then did our soldiers, aiming at their safety, fly from the field. Then was the noble Chester too soon taken prisoner with that furious Scot, the bloody Douglas, whose well-labouring sword had 3 times slain the appearance of the king. down his veil and did not grace the shame of those who turned their backs in his flight. Stumbling in fear was took. The sum of is that the king hath won, and have sent a speedy power to encounter you, my lord, under the conduct of the young Lancaster and the Westmore. This is the news at full.
For this I shall have time enough to mourn. In poison there is physic, and this news having been well, that would have made me sick, being sick have in some measure made me well. And as the wretch whose fever-weakened joints lie like strengthless hinges buckle under life, impatient of his fit, breaks like a fire out of his keeper's arms, e'en so my limbs, weakened with grief, being now enraged with grief, are thrice themselves. Hence, therefore, thou nice crutch, and he throws down his crutch, a scaly gauntlet now with joints of steel must glove this hand. And hence, thou sickly coif, and he throws down his nightcap. Thou art a guard too wanton for the head, which princes fleshed with conquest aim to hit. Now bind my brows with iron, and approach the raggedest hour that time and spite dare bring, to frown upon then rage Northumberland. Let heaven kiss earth, now let not nature's hand keep the wild flood confined. Let order die! And let the world no longer be a stage to feed contention in a lingering act, but let one spirit of the firstborn Cain reign in all bosoms, that each heart being set on bloody courses the rude scene may end, and darkness be the barrier of the dead. Lord Bardolph?
A sustained passion doth you wrong, my lord.
Sweet Earl, divorce not wisdom from your honour.
The lives of all your loving compliances lean on your health, the which, if you give over to stormy passion, must perforce decay. You cast the event of war, my noble lord, and summed the account of chance before you said, "Let us make head." It was your prize, that in the dole of blows your son might drop. You knew he walked her perils on an edge, more likely to fall in to get over. You advised his flesh was capable and scars, that his forged spirit would lift him where most trade of danger reigns. Yet you did say, "Go forth," and nice, through strongly apprehended restraint, the stiff-born action. What hath then befallen? What hath this bold entrance brought more than that being which was like to be?
We all that are engaged to this loss knew that we ventured on such dangerous seas, that if we wrought our life 'twas 10 to 1. And yet we ventured for the gain proposed, choked the respect of likely peril feared, and since we are set, venture again. Come, we will all put forth body and goods.
'Tis more than time, and my most noble lord, I hear for certain, and do speak the truth, the gentle Archbishop of York is up, with well-appointed powers. He is a man who, with double surety, binds his followers. My lord, your son had only but shadows and the shows of men to fight. For that same world rebellion did divide the action of their bodies from their souls, and they did fight with queerness constrained, as men drink potions, that their weapons only seemed on our side, but for their spirits and this word, rebellion, it had frozen them, as fish are in a pond. But now the bishop turns insurrection to religion, supposed sincere and holy in his thoughts. He's followed both with body and with mind, and enlarge his rising with blood of fair King Richard, scraped from Pompous stones, derives from heaven his cause, tells him he doth bestride a bleeding land, gasping for life under the great Bolingbroke, and more and less do flock to follow him.
I knew of this before, but to speak truth, this present grief had wiped it from my mind. Go in with me and counsel every man the aptest way for safety and revenge. Get posts and letters and make friends with speed. Never so few, nor never yet more need. Dun, 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 dun. So they leave, and it looks like the bad guys from the last play are about to get absolutely creamed. But in the meantime, here comes Falstaff. You love to see him. He's a fat old drunk. That's the one joke, is he's really fat. "Sirrah, you giant, what says the doctor to my water?"
He said, sir, the water itself was a good healthy water, but for the party that owned it, he might have more diseases than he knew for.
Men of all sorts take a pride to gird at me. The brain of this foolish compounded clay man is not able to invest anything that tends to laughter more than I invent or is invented on me. I am not only witty in myself, but the cause that wit is in other men. I do here walk before thee like a sow that hath overwhelmed all her litter but one. If the priest put thee into my service for any other reason than to set me off, why then I have no judgment. Thou whoreson mandrake, thou art fitter to be worn in my cap than to wait at my heels. I was never manned with an agate till now, but I will set you neither in gold nor silver, but in vile apparel, and send you back again to your master for a jewel, the juvenile, the prince your master, whose chin is not yet fledged. I will soon have a beard grow in the palm of my hand, and he shall get one on his cheek, yet he will not stick to say his face is a face royal. Heaven may finish it when he will, it is not yet a hair amiss. He may keep it still at a face royal, for a barber shall never earn sixpence out of it, and he will still be crowning as if he had writ man ever since his father was a bachelor. He may keep his own grace, but he is almost out of mine, I can assure him. What said Master Dumbledon about the satin for my short cloak and slops?
He said, sir, you should procure him better assurance than Bardolph. He would not take his band and yours. He liked not the security.
Let him be damned like the glutton. May his tongue be hotter. A whoreson architoffel. A rascally, yea, forsooth, knave, to bear a gentleman in hand, and then stand upon security. The whoreson smooth pates do now wear nothing but high shoes, and bunches of keys at their girdles. And if a man is through with them in honest taking up, then they must stand upon security. I had as lief they would put ratsbane in my mouth as offer to stop it with security. I looked he should have sent me 22 yards of satin, as I am a true knight, and he sends me security. Why, he may sleep in security, for he hath the horn of abundance, and the likeness of his wife shines through it, and yet he cannot see, though he have his own lanthorn to light him. Where's Bardolph?
He's gone into Smithfield to buy your worship a house.
I bought him in Paul's, and he'll buy him a horse in Smithfield. If I could get me a wife in the stews, I were manned, horsed, and wived. Enter the Chief Justice and one of his servants.
Sir, here comes the nobleman that committed the prince for striking him about Bardolph.
Oh, wait, close, I will not see him. He tries to sneak away. Someone want to be Lord Chief Justice? Oh no, I'm the Lord Chief Justice. Aha.
Yeah.
What's he that goes there?
Falstaff, an't please your worship.
He that was in question for the robbery?
He, my lord. But he hath since done good service at Shrewsbury, and, as I hear, is now going with some charge to the Lord John of Lancaster.
What, to York? Call him back again.
Sir John Falstaff.
Boy, tell him I am deaf.
You must speak louder, my master is deaf.
I am sure he is to the hearing of anything good. Go pluck him by the elbow, I must speak with him.
Sir John.
What, a young knave and beg? Is there not wars? Is there not employment? Does not the king lack subjects? Do not the rebels want soldiers? Though if it be shame to be on any side, one is worse shame to beg than to be on the worst side, were it worse than the name of rebellion can tell you how to make it.
You mistake me, sir.
Why, sir, did I say you were an honest man? Setting my knighthood and my soldiership aside, I had lied in my throat if I'd said so.
I pray you, sir, then set your knighthood and your soldiership aside, and give all the leave to tell you. You lie in your throat, if you say I am any other than an honest man.
I give thee leave to tell me so. I lay aside that which grows to me. If thou gett'st any leave of me, hang me. If thou takest leave, thou were better to be hanged. You hunt counter, hence, avaunt.
Sir, my lord would speak with you.
Sir John Falstaff, a word with you. My good lord. Give me your lordship good time of the day. I'm glad to see your lordship abroad. I've heard some say your lordship was sick. I hope your lordship goes abroad by advice. Your lordship, though not clean past your youth, hath yet some smack of age in you, some relish of the saltness of time, and I most humbly beseech your lordship to have a reverend care of your health. Sir John, I sent for you before your expedition to Shrewsbury. If it please your lordship, I hear his majesty is returned with some discomfort from Wales. I talk not of his majesty, you would not come when I sent for you. And I hear, moreover, his highness is fallen into the same whoreson apology. Well, heaven mend him. I pray, let me speak with you. This apoplexy is, as I take it, a kind of lethargy, a sleeping of the blood, a whoreson tingling. What tell you me of it? Be it as it is. It hath it original from much grief, from study and perturbation of the brain. I have read the cause of his effects in Galen. It's a kind of deafness. I think you are fallen into the disease, for you hear not what I say to you. Very well, my lord, very well. Rather, an't please you, it is the disease of not listening, the malady of not marking, that I am troubled withal. To punish you by the heels would amend the attention of your ears, and I care not if I be your physician. I am as poor as Job, my lord, but not so patient. Your lordship may minister the potion of imprisonment to me in respect of my poverty, but how I should be your patient to follow your prescriptions the wise may make some drama of a scruple, or indeed a scruple itself. I sent for you. when there were matters against you for your life, to come speak with me. As I was then advised by my learned counsel in the laws of this land service, I did not come. Well, the truth is, Sir John, you live in great infamy. He that buckles him in my belt cannot live in less. Your means is very slender, and your waist great. Would it were otherwise, I would my means were greater and my waist slenderer. You have misled the youthful prince. The young prince hath misled me. I'm the fellow with the great belly, and he my dog. Well, I am loath to gall a new-healed wound. Your day's service at Shrewsbury hath a little gilded over your night's exploits on Gad's Hill. You may thank the unquiet time for your quiet o'erposting that action. My lord? But since all is well, keep it so. Wake not a sleeping wolf. To wake a wolf is as bad as to smell a fox. What? You are as a candle, the better part burned out. A wassail candle, my lord, all tallow. If I did say of wax, my growth would approve the truth. There is not a white hair on your face, but should have his effect of gravity. His effect of gravy. Great gravy. You follow the young prince up and down, like his evil angel. Not so, my lord. Your ill angel is light, but I hope that he looks upon me will take me without weighing, and yet in some respects I grant I cannot go if I cannot tell. Virtue is of so little regard in these costermongers that true valour is turned barehead. Pregnancy is made a tapster, and hath his quick wit wasted in giving reckonings. All the other gifts are pertinent to man, as the malice of this age shapes them are not worth a gooseberry. You that are old, consider not the capacities of us that are young. You measure the heat of our livers with the bitterness of your galls, and we that are in the vanward of our youth, I must confess, are wags too. Do you set down your name in the scroll of youth, that are written down old with all the characters of age? Have you not a moist eye, a dry hand, a yellow cheek, a white beard, a decreasing leg, an increasing belly? Is not your voice broken, your wind short, your wit single, and every part about you blasted with antiquity? And will you not call yourself young? Fie, 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 Sir John. My lord, I was born with a white head and something like a round belly. For my voice, I've lost it with hallowing and singing of anthems. To approve my understanding, and he that will caper with me for 1,000 marks, let him lend me the money and have at him. For the box of the ear that the prince gave you, he gave it like a rude prince, and you took it like a sensible lord. I've checked him for it. And the young lion repents. Marry not in ashes and sackcloth, but with new silk and old sack. Well, heaven send the prince a better companion. Heaven send the companion a better prince. I cannot rid my hands of him. Well, the king hath severed you and Prince Harry. I hear you are in going with Lord John of Lancaster against the Archbishop and the Earl of Northumberland. Yes. I thank your pretty sweet wit for it. But look you pray, or that you kiss my lady peace at home, that our armies join not in a hot day. For if I take but 2 shirts out with me, and I mean not to sweat extraordinarily, if it be a hot day, if I brandish anything but my bottle, would I might never spit white again. There is not a dangerous action can peep out his head, but I am thrust upon it. Well, I cannot last forever. Well, be honest, and heaven bless your expedition. Will your lordship lend me £1,000 to furnish me forth? Not a penny! Not a penny, you are too impatient to bear crosses. Fare you well. Commend me to my cousin Westmoreland. And so they leave. If I do, fillet me with a 3-man beetle. A man can no more separate age and covetousness than he can part young limbs and lechery. But the gout galls the one, and the pox pinches the other, and so both the degrees prevent my curses. Boy!
Sir,
What money is in thy purse?
7 groats and 2 pence.
I can get no remedy against this consumption of the purse. Borrowing only lingers and lingers it out, but the disease is incurable. Go, bear this letter to my Lord of Lancaster, this to the Prince, this to the Earl of Westmoreland, and this to old Mistress Ursula, whom I have weakly sworn to marry since I perceived the first white hair on my chin. About it, you know where to find me. Oh, a pox of this gout! Oh, a gout of this pox! For the one or the other plays the rogue with my great toe. Oh, it is no matter if I do halt, I have the walls for my colour, and my pension shall seem the more reasonable. A good wit will make use of anything. I will turn diseases to commodity. So Falstaff is being not only forbidden from seeing Prince Hal again, but he's also being sent to war. Okay, enter the Archbishop and Hastings and Mowbray. Presumably not the same Mowbray. No, not the same Mowbray who died in Richard II, unless he's some kind of zombie. And Lord Bardolph. I am the Archbishop of York, so I say, Lord Bardolph, I am the Archbishop of York, so I say, Lord Bardolph, I am the Archbishop of York, so I say, Lord Bardolph, I am the Archbishop of York, so I say, Lord Bardolph, I am the Archbishop of York, so I say, Lord Bardolph, I am the Archbishop of York, so I say, Lord Bardolph, I am the Archbishop of York, so I say, Lord Bardolph, I am the Archbishop of York, so I say, Lord Bardolph, I am the Archbishop of York, so I say, Lord Bardolph, I am the Archbishop of York, so I say, Lord Bardolph, I am the Archbishop of York, so I say, Lord Bardolph, I am the Archbishop of York, so I say, Lord Bardolph, I am the Archbishop of York, so I say, Lord Bardolph, I am the Archbishop of Thus have you heard our causes and know our means, and my most noble friends, I pray you all speak plainly your opinions of our hopes. And first, Lord Marshal, what say you to it?
I well allow the occasion of our arms, but gladly would be better satisfied how in our means we should advance ourselves, to look with forehead bold and big enough upon the power and puissance of the king.
Our present musters grow upon the file to 25,000 men of choice, and our supplies live largely in the hope of great Northumberland, whose bosom burns with an incense fire of injuries.
The question I have, Lord Hastings, standeth thus, whether our present 25,000 may hold up head without Northumberland.
With him we may.
Yea, marry, there's the point. But if without him we be thought too feeble, my judgment is we should not step too far till we had his assistance by the hand. For in a theme so bloody-faced as this, conjecture, expectation, and surmise of aids uncertain should not be admitted.
'Tis very true, Lord Bardolph, for indeed it was young Hotspur's case at Shrewsbury.
It was, my lord, who lined himself with hope, eating the air on promise of supply, flattering himself in project of a power much smaller than the smallest of his thoughts, and so, with great imagination, proper to madmen, led his powers to death and winking leaped into destruction.
But, by your leave, it never did hurt to lay down likelihood in terms of hope.
Yes, if this present quality of war, indeed the instant action, a cause on foot lives so in hope as in early spring we see the appearing buds, which to prove fruit, hope gives not so much warrant as despair that frosts will bite them. When we mean to build, we first survey the plot, then draw the model, and when we see the figure of the house, then must we rate the cost of the erection. What if we find outweighs ability, what we then but draw anew the model, in fewer offices, or at last is this to build at all? Much more, in this great work, which is almost to pluck a kingdom down and set another up, should we survey the plot of a situation and the model, consent upon a sure foundation, question surveyors, know our own estate, how able such a work to undergo to weigh against its opposite, or else we fortify in paper and in figures, using the names of men instead of men, like one that draws the model of a house, beyond his power to build it, who, half through, gives o'er and leaves his part created cost, a naked subject to the weeping clouds, and waste for churlish winter's tyranny.
Grant that our hopes, yet likely of fair birth, should be stillborn, and that we now possess the utmost man of expectation. I think we are body strong, even as we are, to equal the king.
What, is the king but 25,000?
To us, no more, nay, not so much, Lord Bardolph, for all his divisions of the times do are in the three heads, one power against the French, another against Glendorf, and almost a third must take up us. So is the unfirm king in three divided, as Kofa's sound, hollow poverty and emptiness.
That he should draw his several strengths together and come against us in full puissance need not be dreaded.
If he should do so, he leaves his back unarmed, the French and the Welsh, baying him at the heels. Never fear that.
Who is it like should lead his forces hither?
The Duke of Lancaster and Westmoreland, against the Welsh himself and Harry, but who is substituted against the French, I have no certain notice.
Let us on, and publish the occasion of our arms. The Commonwealth is sick of their own choice. Their over-greedy love hath surfeited a habitation giddy and unsure. Hath he that buildeth on the vulgar heart. O thou fond many, with what loud applause didst thou beat heaven with blessing Bolingbroke, before he was thou wouldst have let him be, and being now trimmed in thine own desires, thou beastly feeder, art so full of him that thou provokest thyself to cast him up. So, thou common dog, didst thou disgorge thy glutton bosom of the royal Richard, and now wouldst thou eat the dead vomit up, and how'st to find it? What trust is in these times? They that, when Richard lived, would have him die, are now become enamoured on his grave. Thou that throughst dust upon his goodly head, when through proud London he came sighing on, after the admired heels of Bolingbroke, criest now, O earth, yield us that king again, and takest thou this, O thoughts of men accursed, past and to come seems best, things present worse.
Shall we go draw our numbers and set on?
We are time's subjects, and time bids be gone.
And so they go. I think the Archbishop of York got on a train and went to Newcastle for that last speech. Accent slightly slipped. Anyway, here comes Hostess Quickly, who you remember from the last play, runs a pub in London with two officers named Fang and Snare.
Master Fang, have you entered the act?
It is entered.
Where, your yeoman? Is it a lusty yeoman? Will it stand to it?
Sirrah, where's Snare?
Oh, Lord A, good Master Snare.
Here, here. Snare, we must arrest Sir John Falstaff.
Yea, good Master Snare, I have entered.
It may chance cost some of us our lives, for he will stab.
Alas the day! Take heed of him, he stabbed me in my own home, and that most beastly. In good faith he cares not what mischief he does. If his weapon be out, he will coin like any devil. He will spare neither man, woman, nor child.
If I can close with him, I care not for his thrust.
No, nor I neither. I'll be at your elbow.
And I but fist him once, and I come but within my vice.
I am undone by his going. I warn you, he's an intrusive thing upon my score. Good Master Fang, hold him sure. Good Master Snare, let him not escape. Comes continually to Pye Court, saving your manhood to buy a saddle, and he is indicted to dine to the Lubberhead of Church Street, to Master Smooth the silkman. I pray ye, since my Ixion entered, and my case so openly known to the world, let him be brought in to his answer. 100 marks alone, or alone there, and I have borne him, and have fobbed off and fobbed off, and fobbed off from this day to that day. That is a shame to be thought on. There is no honesty in such dealing, unless a woman should be made an ass, and a beast to bear every name's wrong.
And here comes Falstaff with his page.
And that errant mounting noise knave bowed off with him. Do your offices, Master Fang and Master Snare. Do me your offices.
How now? Whose mare's dead? What's the matter?
Sir John, I arrest you at the suit of Mistress Quickly.
Away, varlets! Draw Bud off! Cut me off the villain's head! Throw the queen in the channel!
Throw me in the channel?
Swing.
I'll throw thee in the channel. Wilt thou, thou bastardly rogue? Murder, O thou honeysuckle villain! Thou shalt kill God's officers and the king, O thou honeyseed rogue! Thou art honeyseed, a man queller and a woman queller.
Kick them off, Bardolph!
A rescue, a rescue!
Good people, bring a rescuer too. Thou won't, thou tie? Do thou rogue, do thou hemp seed.
Page? Oh well, we're moving on. The Chief Justice comes in. What's the matter? Keep the peace here, ho? Mistress Quickly? How now, Sir John? What are you brawling here? Doth this become your place, your time and business? You should have been well on your way to York. Stand from him, fellow. Wherefore hangst upon him? I think we've lost Hostess Quickly. In which case, I am now the Hostess Quickly.
Oh, sorry, I muted myself because I'm an idiot.
It's alright.
Oh, God. Oh, most worshipful Lord, ain't please your grace, I am a poor widow of Eastship, and he is arrested at my...
For what sum?
Justice. It is more than for some, my lord. It is all I have. He hath eaten me out of house and... He hath put all my substance into that fat belly of his, but I will have some of it again, or I will ride thee all nights like the mare.
I think I am as like to ride the mare if I have any vantage of ground to get up. How comes this, Sir John? Fie, what a man of good temper would endure this tempest of exclamation. Are you not ashamed to enforce a poor widow to so rough a course to come by her own? What is this gross sum that I owe thee?
Marry, if thou wast an honest man thyself, and too. Thou didn't swear to me a past gilt goblet, sitting in my dolphin chamber at a round table by a sea called fire upon Wednesday in Creek, when the prince broke thy head for liking his father to a singing man of Windsor. Thou didn't swear to me then, as I was washing thy wound, to marry me and make my lady thee wife. Canst thou deny it? Did not good wife Kesich, the butcher's wife, come in and then call me gossip quickly, coming to borrow a mess of vinegar, telling us she had a good dish of prawns, whereby thou didn't desire to eat some, whereby I told thee that they were ill for a green wound, and didn't thou not, when she was gone down the stairs, desire me to be no more familiarity with such poor people, saying that ere long they should call me madame? And didn't thou not kiss me, and bid me fetch thee 30 shillings? I put thee now to thy book oath. Deny it if thou canst.
My lord, this is a poor mad soul, and she says up and down the town that her eldest son is like you. She hath been in good case, and the truth is poverty hath distracted her. But for these foolish officers, I beseech you, I may have redress against them. Sir John, I am well acquainted with your manner of wrenching the true cause the false way. It is not a confident brow, nor the throng of words that come with such more than impudent sauciness from you, can thrust me from a level consideration. I know you have practised upon the easy yielding spirit of this woman. Prithee, peace. Pay her the debt you owe her, and unpay the villainy you have done her. The one you may do with sterling money, and the other with current repentance. My lord, I will not undergo this sneak without reply. You call honourable boldness impudent sauciness. If a man will curtsy and say nothing, he is virtuous. No, my lord, your humble duty remembered, I will not be your suitor. I say to you, I desire deliverance from these officers, being upon hasty employment in the king's affairs. You speak as having power to do wrong, but answer in the effect of your reputation, and satisfy the poor woman. Come hither, hostess. And Falstaff pulls her aside to give her a talking to. And in comes Master Gower. Sorry. Now, Master Gower, what news?
The king, my lord, and Harry Prince of Wales are near at hand. The rest the paper tells.
As I am a gentleman, I give her some paper. It's an IOU.
Faith, you said so before.
As I am a gentleman, come no more words of it.
By this heavenly ground I tread on, I must be fain to prawn both my plate and the tapestry of my dining chamber.
Glasses is only the drinking, and for thy walls a pretty slight drollery, or the story of the prodigal, or the German hunting and waterwork is worth 1,000 of these bed hangings and these fly-bitten tapestries. Let it be £10 if thou canst. Come, if it were not for thy humours, there is not a better wench in England. Go wash thy face and draw thy action. Come, thou must not be in this humour with me. Come, I know what thou wast sent on to this.
Pray thee, Sir John, let it be but 20 nobles. Faith, I am loath to pawn my plate, so God save me.
Let it alone, I'll make other shift. You'll be a fool still.
Well, you shall have it. Though I'm poor in my gown, I hope you'll come to supper. You'll pay me altogether.
Will I live? Go with her. Hook on.
Will we have Dold Tersha meet you at supper?
No more words. Let's have her. So Mistress Quickly, Bardolph, Fang, and all the others leave. The Lord Chief Justice says, I have heard bitter news. What's the news, my good lord? Where lay the king last night?
At Basingstoke, my lord.
I hope, my lord, all's well. What is the news, my lord? Come all his forces back?
No. 1,500 foot, 500 horse are marched up to my lord at Lancaster, against Northumberland and the Archbishop.
Comes the king back from Wales, my noble lord. You shall have letters of me presently. Come, go along with me, good Master Gower. My lord! What's the matter? Master Gower, shall I entreat you with me to dinner?
I must wait upon my lord. Good lord here, I thank you. Good Sir John.
Sir John, you loiter here too long, being you are to take soldiers up in counties as you go. Will you sup with me, Master Gower? What foolish master taught you these manners, Sir John? Master Gower, if they become me not, he was a fool that taught them me. This is the right fencing grace, my lord, tap for tap, and so part fair. Now the Lord lighten thee, thou art a great fool. So they leave. So, in comes Prince Henry, and Poins, who has formerly been one of the lads, but Henry's a bit less of one of the lads than he was. So Prince Henry comes in and he says, Trust me, I am exceeding weary.
Is to come to that? I had thought weariness does not have attached one of so high blood.
It doth me, though it discolours the complexion of my greatness to acknowledge it. Doth it not show vilely in me to desire small beer?
Why, a prince should not be so loosely studied as to remember so weak a composition.
Belike then my appetite was not princely god, for in troth I do now remember the poor creature small beer. But indeed these humble considerations make me out of love with my greatness. What a disgrace is it to me to remember thy name, or to know thy face tomorrow, or to take note how many pair of silk stocking thou hast. Videlecit these, and those that were thy peach-coloured ones, or to bear the inventory of thy shirts as one for superfluity, and one other for use. But that the tennis-court keeper knows better than I, for it is a low abe of linen with thee when thou keepst not a racket there, as thou hast not done a great while, because the rest of thy low countries have made a shift to eat up thy Holland.
How ill it follows, after you have laboured so hard, that you should talk so idly. Tell me, how many good young princes would do so, their fathers being so sick as yours at this time is?
Shall I tell thee one thing, Poins?
Yes, faith, and let it be an excellent good thing.
It shall serve among wits of no higher breeding than thine.
Go to. I stand the push of your one thing that you will tell.
Why, I tell thee it is not meet that I should be sad now my father is sick, albeit I could tell to thee as to one it pleases me, for fault of a better, to call my friend. I could be sad, and sad indeed too.
Very hardly upon such a subject.
Thou thinkest me as far in the devil's book as thou in Falstaff for obduracy and persistency. Let the end try the man. But I tell thee, my heart bleeds inwardly that my father is so sick, and keeping such vile company as thou art hath in reason taken from me all ostentation of sorrow.
The reason?
What wouldst thou think of me if I should weep?
I would think thee a most princely hypocrite.
It would be in every man's thought, and thou art a blessed fellow to think as every man thinks. Never a man's thought in the world keeps the roadway better than thine. Every man would think me a hypocrite indeed. And what ascites your most worshipful thought to think so?
Why, because you have been so lewd and so much engaffed to fall.
And to thee.
By this light I am well spoke on. I can hear it with my own ears. The worst that they can say of me is that I am a second brother, and that I am a proper fellow of my hands. And those two things, I confess, I cannot help. By the mass, here comes...
And the boy that I gave to Falstaff, he had hid me from Christian, and see if the fat villain had not transformed him ape. So here comes Bardolph and Falstaff's page.
God save...
And yours, most noble Bardolph.
Come, you virtuous ass, you bashful fool, must you be blushing? Wherefore blush you now? What a maidenly man-at-arms are you become? Is such a matter to get a pottle-pot's maid?
I calls me Ian now, my lord, through a red lattice, and I could discern no part of his face from the window. At last I spied his eyes, and methought he had made 2 holes in the alewife's new petticoat, and so peeped through.
Hath not the boy profited?
Away, you whoreson, upright rabbit, away!
Away, you rascally Althea's dream, away!
Instruct us, boy. What dream, boy?
Marry, my lord, Althea dreamed she was delivered of a firebrand, and therefore I call him her dream.
A crown's worth of good interpretation. There it is, boy.
Oh, that is good blossom, could be kept from cankers. Well, there is 6pence to preserve thee. And you do not make him hanged among you. The gallows shall have wrong.
And how doth thy master, Bardolph?
Well, my lord, he heard of your grace's coming to town. There's a letter for you. Delivered with good respect, and how doth the Martimus your master? Marry, the immortal part needs a physician, but that moves not him. Though that be but sick, it dies not.
I do allow this wen to be as familiar with me as my dog, and he holds his place, for look you, he writes... Look you, he writes...
John Falstaff, knight, every man must know that, as oft he has occasion to name himself, even like those that are kin to the king, for they never prick their finger, but they say, there's some of the king's blood spilt. How comes that, says he, that takes upon him not to conceive? The answer is as ready as a borrower's cap. I am the king's poor cousin, sir.
Nay, they will be kin to us, but they will fetch it from Japhet. But to the letter, Sir John Falstaff, knight, to the son of the king nearest his father Harry, Prince of Wales, greeting. Peace, I will imitate the honourable Romans in brevity. Points.
Oh, he sure means brevity in breath. Short-winded, I commend me to thee. I commend thee, and I leave thee. Be not too familiar with poins, for he misuses thy favour so much that he swears thou art to marry his sister Nell. Repent at idle times as thou mayest, and so farewell. Thine by yea and no, which is as much as to say, as thou usest him. Jack Falstaff with my familiars, John with my brothers and sisters, and Sir John with all Europe. My lord, I'll steep this letter in sack, and make him eat it.
That's to make him eat 20 of his words. But do you mean to use me thus, Ned? Must I marry your sister?
God send the wench no worse fortune. But I never said so.
Well, thus we play the fools with the time, and the spirits of the wise sit in the clouds and mock us. Is your master here in London?
Yea, my lord.
Where sups he? Doth the old boar feed in the old Frank?
At the old place, my lord, in Eastcheap.
What company? Sup any women with him? Page? I think Page is muted. Anyway.
I'm sorry. None, my lord, but old Mistress Quickly and Mistress Dole Tearsheet.
What pagan may that be?
A proper gentlewoman, sir, and a kinswoman of my master's.
Even such kin as the parish heifers are to the town bull. Shall we steal upon them, Ned, at supper?
I am your shadow, my lord. I'll follow you.
Sirrah, you boy, and Bardolph, no word to your master that I am yet in town. There's for your silence.
I have no tongue, sir.
And for mine, sir, I will govern it.
Fare you well. Go. This dull tear-sheet should be some road.
I warrant you, as common as the way between St. Albans and London.
How might we see Falstaff bestow himself tonight in his true colours, and not ourselves be seen?
Put 2 leathern jerkins and aprons, and wait upon him at his table as drawers.
From a god to a bull. A heavy declension, it was Jove's case. From a prince to a prentice. A low transformation, that shall be mine. For in everything the purpose must weigh with the folly. Follow me, Ned. So, they're going to go and see Falstaff, because Prince Hal used to be one of the lads, but once he'd been to war, the lads, you can't really go back to lads. Everything's changed. So here comes Northumberland and his lady, and Harry Percy's lady, and he says, I prithee, loving wife and gentle daughter, give an even way unto my rough affairs, put not you on the visage of the times, and be like them to Percy troublesome.
I have given over. I will speak no more. Your wisdom be your guide.
Alas, sweet wife, my honour is at pawn, and but my going nothing can redeem it.
Oh, yet, for God's sake, go not to these wars. Time was, father, that you broke your word when you were more endeared to it than now. When your own Percy, when my heart's dear Harry, through many a north to see his father, bring up his powers, but he did not long in vain. Who then persuaded you to stay at home? There were 2 honours lost, yours and your son. For yours the God of heaven brighten it, for his it struck upon him as the sun brave vault of heaven. By his light did chivalry of England move to do brave acts, and he was indeed the glass wherein the did dress themselves. He had no legs that practised not his gait, and speaking thick, which nature made him blush, because the accents of the valiant, those that could not speak low and tardily, would turn their own perfection to abuse, to seem like him, so that in speech, in gait, in diet, in affections of delight, in military rules, humours of blood, he was the marking glass, copy and book, that fashioned others, and him, O wondrous him, O miracle of men, him did you leave, second to none, unseconded by you, to look upon the hideous god of disadvantage, to abide a field where nothing but the sound of Hotspur's name did seem defensible to him, so you left him. Never, oh never do his ghost to hold your honour more precise and nice with others than with him. Let them alone. The Marshal and the Archbishop are strong. Had my sweet Harry had but half their number, today I might be hanging on Hotspur's neck, have talk of Macbeth's grave.
Beshrew your heart, fair daughter, you do draw my spirits from me with new lamenting ancient oversights. But I must go and meet with danger there, or it will seek me in another place and find me worse provided.
Oh, fly to Scotland, till the have their made a little taste. If they get ground in vantage of the king, then join you with them like rib of steel, to make strength stronger. But, for all our loves, first let them try themselves. So did your son, He was suffered, so came I a widow, and never shall have length of life to reign upon with mine eyes, that it may grow and spout as high as heaven to my noble husband.
Is it me? Sorry. Come, come, go in with me. 'Tis with my mind as with the tide swelled up unto his height that makes us still stand running neither way. Fain would I go to meet the Archbishop, but many thousand reasons hold me back. I will resolve for Scotland. There am I till time and vantage crave my company. And then they will leave, and in come two drawers, which I thought, who are the drawers? Bartenders. Two bartenders come in.
What the devil hast thou brought here? Applejohns? Thou knowest Sir John cannot endure an Applejohn.
Mass, thou sayest true. Prince set a dish of Applejohns before him, and told him that there were 5 more St. Johns, and, putting off his hat, said, I will now take my leave of the 6 dry round with it. It angered him to the heart, he hath forgotten.
Why, then, cover, and set them down, and see if thou canst find out Sneak's noise. Mistress Tearsheed would fain hear some music. Dispatch.
Second drawer, I think I'm just going to take over from you because your microphone's a little...
I'm just going to try.
Okay,
I'm just going to try and reset your mic. In the meantime, I'll pick it up. Sirrah, here will be the prince and master Poins anon, and they will put on 2 of your jerkins and your aprons, and Sir John must not know of it. Bardolph hath brought word.
By the mass, here will here will be old Eutus. It will be an accident.
I'll see if I can find out
Hi.
Sneak.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Sorry, pause a moment. Alice, you're on stage.
Sorry.
Technical difficulties. Anyway, should we go from Quickly's entrance? Do you want to take Quickly?
Aye, Faith, sweetheart. Excellent, good temporality. Your pulsage beats as extraordinarily as heart would desire, and your colour, I warrant you, is as red as any rose, in good truth, la. But in faith you have drunk too much, can I say. What's this? How do you now?
Who's going to be Tearsheet? Sorry, I think we're having some technical difficulties here. Alright, I think we may need to go to an intermission to fix this because somebody's microphone's not good. So, give us 2 minutes to try and lock down this technical stuff. Thank you for bearing with us, everyone. Okie dokie, we're back. Sorry about that. Just trying to fix a little bit of technical difficulties. Why don't we go from... hopefully we should be alright now. Let's go from Hostess Quickly's entrance.
Okay. I faith, sweetheart, methinks now you are in a excellent good temporality. Your pulses beat as extraordinarily as heart would desire, and your colour, I warrant you, is as red as any rose, in good truth, la. But in faith you have drunk too much canaries, and that's marvellous searching wine, and it perfumes the blood ere one say, what's this? How do you now?
Better than I was.
Why, that's well said. A good heart's worth gold. Lo, here comes Sir John.
When Arthur first in court empty the Jordan and was worthy a king. How now, Mistress Doll?
Sick of calm, ye good faith.
So is all her sect. If there be once in a calm, they are sick.
You muddy rascal, is that all the comfort you give me?
You make fat rascals, Mistress Doll.
I make them. Gluttony and diseases make them. I make them not.
If the cook make the gluttony, you help to make the diseases, Doll. We catch of you, Doll, we catch of you. Grant that, my poor virtue, grant that.
Yea, joy, our chains and our jewels.
Ah, your brooches, pearls, and ouches. For to serve bravely is to come halting off, you know. To come off the breach with his pike bent bravely, and to surgery bravely, to venture upon the charged chambers bravely.
Hang yourself, you muddy conger, hang yourself.
By my troth, this is the old fashion. You two never meet, but you fall to some discord. You are both, in good truth, as rhythmatics as two dry toasts. You cannot bear with another's conformities. What the good year one must bear, and that must be you. You are the weaker vessel, as they say, the emptier vessel.
Can a weak, empty vessel bear such a huge, full hogshead? There's a whole merchant's venture of Bordeaux stuff in him. You have not seen a hulk better stuffed in the hold. Come, I'll be friends with thee, Jack. Thou art going to the wars, and whether I shall ever see thee again or no, there is nobody cares.
And here comes the first bartender again.
Sir, ancient pistols below and would speak with you.
Hang him, swaggering rascal. Let him not come hither. It is the foul-mouthedest tongue in England.
If he swagger, let him not come here. No, by my faith, I must live amongst my neighbours. I'll no swaggers. I am in a good name and fame with the very best. Shut the door. There come no swaggerers here. I have not lived all this while to have some swaggering now. Shut the door, I pray you.
Dost thou hear, hostess?
Pray ye, pacify yourself, Sir John. There comes no swaggerers here.
Dost thou hear? It is mine ancient.
Tilly-fally, Sir John. Never tell me your ancient swagger comes not in my doors. I was before Master Trix, the deputy, the other day, and he said to me, 'twas not long ago than Wednesday last, I, good faith, neighbour Quickly, says he, Master Dumby, our minister, was by then neighbour Quickly, yet, says he, receive those that are civil, for, said he, you are in an ill name now, said so, I can tell whereupon, for, he says, you are an honest woman, and well thought on, therefore take heed what guests you receive. Receive, says he, no swaggering companions. There comes none here. You would bless you to hear what he said. No, I'll no swaggerers.
He's no swaggerer, hostess, a tame cheater he. You may stroke him as gently as a puppy greyhound. He will not swagger with a Barbary hen if her feathers turn back in any show of resistance. Call him up, Draw.
Cheater, you call him. I will bar no honest man, my house, no cheater, but I do not love swaggering by my troth. I am the worst when you say a swagger. Feel, masters, how I shake you, look you, I warrant you.
So you do, hostess.
Do I? Ye in very truth do I. And 'twere an aspen leaf, I cannot abide swaggerers.
So here comes Pistol and Bardolph and their boy, their servant.
God save you, Sir John.
Welcome, ancient Pistol. Here, Pistol, I charge you with a cup of sack. Do you discharge upon mine hostess?
I will discharge upon her, Sir John, with 2 bullets.
She is pistol-proof, sir. You shall hardly offend her.
Come, I'll drink no proofs nor bullets. I'll drink no more than will do me good, for no man's pleasure, I.
Then to you, Mistress Dorothy, I will charge you.
Charge me? I scorn you, scurvy companion. What? You poor, base, rascally, cheating, lack-linen mate. Away, your mouldy rogue, away. I am meat for your master.
I know you, Mistress Dorothy.
Away, you cut-purse rascal! You filthy bung, away! By this wine I'll thrust my knife in your mouldy chaps, and you play the saucy cuttle with me. Away, you bottle-ale rascal! You basket-hilt stale juggler, you! Since when, I pray you, sir, God's light with 2 points on your shoulder? Much.
God let me not live, but I will murder you rough for this.
Quickly? Mistress, quickly?
No, good Captain Pistol, not here, sweet Captain.
Captain, thou abominable damned cheater, art thou not ashamed to be called captain? If captains were of my mind, they would truncheon you out for taking their names upon you before you have earned them. You a captain, you slave, for what? For tearing a poor whore's ruff in a bawdy house. He, a captain, hang him, rogue. He lives upon mouldy stewed prunes and dried cakes. A captain. God's light, these villains will make the word as odious as the word occupy, which was an excellent good word before it was ill-sorted. Therefore, captains had need look to it. Pray thee, go down, good ancient.
Hark thee hither, Mistress Doll.
Not I tell thee what, Corporal Bardolph. I could tear her. I'll be revenged of her. Pray thee, go down. I'll see her damned first, to Pluto's damned lake, by this hand, to the infernal deep, with Erebus and tortures vile also. Hold hook and line, I say. Down, down, dogs. Down, faitors. Have we not Hiren here?
Good Captain Pistol, be quiet, 'tis very late. Faith, I beseech you now, aggravate your caller.
These be good humours indeed. Shall pack horses and hollow pampers, jades of Asia, which cannot but go but 30 mile a day, compare with Caesars and with cannibals and Trojan Greeks? Nay, rather damn them with King Cerberus, and let the welkin roar. Shall we fall foul for toys?
Be my troth, Captain, these are very bitter words.
Begone, good ancient, this will grow to a ball anon.
Die men like dogs, give crowns like pins. Have we no heron here?
Oh my word, Captain, there's no such here. What the good year? Do you think I would deny her? For God's sake, be quiet.
Then feed and be fat, my fair Calipolis. Come, give some sack. Si fortune me tormente, sperato me contento. Fear we broadsides? No, let the fiend give fire. Give me some sack, and, sweetheart, lie thou there. Come we to full points here, and our et ceteras nothing?
Pistol, I would be quiet.
Sweet knight, I kiss thy knee. What? We have seen the 7 stars.
Thrust him downstairs. I cannot endure such a fustian rascal.
Thrust him downstairs? Know we not the Galloway nags?
Quote him down, Bardolph, like a show of groat shilling. Nay, if he do nothing but speak nothing, he shall be nothing here.
Come, get you downstairs.
What? Shall we have incision? Shall we imbue? And I snatch up the sword I put down earlier. Then death rock me asleep. Abridge my doleful delays. Why then, let grievous, ghastly, gaping wounds untwine the sisters 3. Come, Atropos, I say.
Here's goodly stuff toward.
Give me my rapier, boy. Dolteshi? Whatever. Get thee downstairs. I draw an attack. I attack Pistol with my sword.
Here's the godly tumlet. I forswear keeping house afore I'll be in the truce and the fights. So murder I warrant now. Alas, alas! Put up your naked weapons and put up your naked weapons.
I think we've lost Tearsheet. I prithee, Jack, be quiet. The rascal's gone. Now, you whoreson little valiant villain, you.
He you not hurt the groin? Methought a maid shrewd thrust at your belly.
Bardolph comes in. Have you turned him out of doors? Have we lost Bardolph?
Yes, sir. The rascal's drunk. You have hurt him, sir, in the shoulder.
A rascal to brave me!
Ah, you sweet little rogue, you. Alas, poor ape, how thou sweatest. Come, let me wipe thy face. Come on, you whoreson chops. Ah, rogue, if faith I love thee. Thou art as valorous as Hector of Troy, worth 5 Agamemnon, and 10 times better than the 9 worthies. Ah, villain.
A rascally slave, I will toss the rogue in a blanket.
Do if thou darest for thy heart. If thou dost, I'll canvass thee between a pair of sheep.
Apparently some musicians come in.
The music has come, sir.
Let them play, play, sirs. Sit on my knee, doll, a rascal bragging slave. The rogue fled from me like quicksilver.
If faith, and thou followest him like a church, thou whoreson little tidy Bartholomew Boarpig, when wilt thou fighting a days and foiling a nights, and begin to patch up thine old body for heaven?
The prince and Poins finally enter. Finally something begins to happen in this scene. As the prince comes in disguise. Peace, good doll, do not speak like a death's head. Do not bid me remember mine end.
Sirrah, what humour is the prince of?
Oh, a good shallow young fellow. He would have made a good pantler. He would have chipped bread well.
They say Poins has a good wit.
He a good wit. Hang him, baboon. His wit's as thick as Tewkesbury mustard. There's no more conceit in him than is in a mallet.
Why does the prince love him so, then?
Because their legs are both of a bigness, and he plays it quite well, and eats conger and fennel, and drinks off candle's end for flapdragons, and rides the wild mare with the boys, and jumps upon joint stools, and swears with a good grace, and wears his boot very smooth, like unto the sign of the leg, and breeds no bait with telling of discreet stories. And such are the gamble faculties he hath, that show a weak mind and an able body, for the which the prince admits him, for the prince himself is such another. The weight of an hair will turn the scales between their avoirdupois. And Prince Henry's in disguise in the corner says, as an aside, he says, "Would not this knave of a wheel have his ears cut off?
Let us beat him before his whore.
Look, if the withered elder hath not his poll clawed like a parrot."
Is it not strange that desire should so many years outlive performance?
Kiss me, doll! Saturn and Venus this year in conjunction. What says the almanac to that?
And look, whether the fiery Trigon, his man, be not lisping to his master's old tables, his notebook, his counsel keeper.
Ah, thou dost give me flattering busses.
By my troth, I kiss thee with a most constant heart.
Or was it bussies? I am old, I am old.
I love thee better than I love e'er a scurvy young boy of them all.
What stuff wilt thou have a kirtle of? I shall receive money on Thursday. Thou shalt have a cap tomorrow. A merry song. Come, it grows late. We will to bed. Thou wilt forget me when I am gone.
By my troth, thou wilt set me a-weeping, and thou sayest so. Prove that ever I dress myself handsome till thy return. Well, hearken the end.
Some sack, Francis.
Anon, sir.
Yeah, it's a callback to Henry IV, Part 1. Yeah. Ha! Bastard son of the kings, and art thou not Poins, his brother? Why, thou globe of sinful continence, what a life thou dost lead. Better than thou. I'm a gentleman, thou art a drawer. Very true, sir, and I am come to draw you out by the ears.
Oh, the Lord preserve thy good grace! By my troth, welcome to London. Now the Lord bless that sweet face of time. Oh, Jesus, are you from Wales?
Thou whoreson mad compound of majesty, by this light flesh and corrupt blood thou art welcome.
How, you fat fool? I scorn you. My lord, he will drive you out of your revenge, and turn all to merriment, if you take not the heat.
You whoreson candle mine, you. How vilely did you speak of me even now before this honest, virtuous, civil gentlewoman?
God's blessing of your good heart, and so is she, be my troth.
Didst thou hear me? Yes, and you knew me, as you did when you ran away by Gad's Hill. You knew I was at your back, and spoke it on purpose to try my patience. No, not so. I did not think thou wast within hearing. I shall drive you then to confess the wilful abuse, and then I know how to handle you. No abuse, Hal, on mine honour, no abuse. Not to dispraise me, and call me pantler, and bread chopper, and I know not what. No abuse, Hal.
No abuse.
No abuse! Ned, in the world, honest Ned, I dispraised him before the wicked, that the wicked might not fall in love with him, in which doing I've done the part of a careful friend and true subject, and thy father is to give me thanks for it. No abuse, Hal, none, Ned, none, no, boys, lads, none. See now whether pure fear and entire cowardice doth not make thee wrong this virtuous gentlewoman to close with us. Is she of the wicked? Is thine hostess here of the wicked? Or is the boy of the wicked? Or honest Bardolph, whose zeal burns in his nose, of the wicked?
Answer, thou dead elm, answer.
The fiend hath pricked down Bardolph irrecoverable, and his face is Lucifer's privy kitchen, where he doth nothing but roast malt worms. For the boy, well, there's a good angel about him, but the devil outbids him too. For the women? For one of them, she's in hell already and burns poor souls. For the other, I owe her money, and whether she be damned for that, I do not know.
No, I warrant you.
No, I think thou art not. I think thou art quit for that. Marry, there is another indictment upon thee for suffering flesh to be eaten in thy house, contrary to the law, for which I think thou wilt howl.
All victuallers do so. What's a joint of mutton or two in a whole Lent?
You, gentlewoman.
What says your grace?
Your grace says that which his flesh rebels against.
Who knocks so loud at the door? Look to the door there, Francis.
In comes Petto, one of the lads. Petto, how now? What news?
The king your father is at Westminster, and there are 20 weak and wary posts come from the north. And, as I came along, I met and overtook a dozen captains, bareheaded, sweating, knocking at the taverns, and asking everyone for Sir John Falstaff.
By heaven, Poins, I feel me much to blame so idly to profane the precious time when tempest of commotion like the south, born with black vapour, doth begin to melt and drop upon our bare unarmoured heads. Give me my sword and cloak. Falstaff. Good night. So the Prince, Poins, and Peter all leave. Now comes in the sweetest morsel of the night, and we must hence and leave it unpicked. Knocking again. More knocking at the door? How now? What's the matter?
You must away to court, sir, presently. A dozen captains stay at door for you.
Pay the musicians, sirrah. Farewell, hostess. Farewell, doll. You see, my good wenches, how men of merit are sought after. The undeserver may sleep when the man of action is called on. Farewell, good wenches. If I be not sent away post, I will see you again ere I go.
I cannot speak, if my heart be not ready to burst. Well, sweet Jack, have a care of thyself.
Yeah, farewell, farewell. Falstaff, Bardolph, and Page, leave.
Well, fare thee well. I have known thee these 29 years. Come peace, God time, but an honester and truer-hearted man. Well, fare thee well.
Mistress Tearsheet.
What's the matter?
Bid Mistress Tearsheet come to my master.
Oh, run, doll, run, good doll, come.
And so they leave. Well done, everybody, for getting to the end of that scene, in which, like, 3/4 of it were absolute nonsense that didn't need to happen. There was bound to be a few scenes like that. Well done for everyone getting through it. But now, the plot. Here comes King Henry with a page, and he says, my crown is too small. Go call the Earls of Surrey and of Warwick, but ere they come, bid them o'erread these letters, and well consider of them. Make good speed, how many thousand of my poorest subjects are at this hour asleep. O sleep, O gentle sleep, nature's soft nurse, how have I frighted thee, that thou no more wilt weigh my eyelids down, and steep my senses in forgetfulness? Why rather, sleep, liest thou in smoky cribs, upon uneasy pallets, stretching thee and hushed with buzzing night flies to thy slumber, than in the perfumed chambers of the great, under the canopies of costly state, and lulled with sounds of sweetest melody. O thou dull god, why liest thou with the vile and loathsome beds, and leav'st the kingly couch a watch-case or a common larum bell? Wilt thou upon the high and giddy mast seal up the ship-boy's eyes, and rock his brains in cradle of the rude imperious surge, and in the visitation of the winds, who take the ruffian billows by the top, curling their monstrous heads and hanging them with deafening clamours in the slippery clouds, that with the hurly death itself awakes? Canst thou, O partial sleep, give thy repose to the wet sea-boy in an hour so rude, and in the calmest and most stillest night, with all appliances and means to boot, deny it to a king? Then happy lo, lie down. Uneasy lies the head that wears a crown. In comes Warwick and Surrey.
Many good morrows to your majesty.
Is it good morrow, lords?
'Tis 1 o'clock and past.
Why then good morrow to you all, my lords. Have you read o'er the letters that I sent you?
We have, my liege.
Then you perceive the body of our kingdom, how foul it is, what rank diseases grow, and with what danger near the heart of it.
It is but his body yet distempered, which to his former strength may be restored. With good advice and little medicine, my Lord Northumberland will soon be cool.
Oh, heaven, that one might read the book of fate and see the revolution of the times make mountains level and the continent, weary of solid firmness, melt itself into the sea. And other times to see the beachy girdle of the ocean, too wide for Neptune's hips, how chances mocks and changes fill the cup of alteration with diverse liquors. 'Tis not 10 years gone since Richard and Northumberland, great friends, did feast together, and in 2 years after were they at wars. It is but 8 years since this Percy was the man nearest my soul, who like a brother toiled in my affairs, and laid his love and life under my foot. Yea, for my sake, into the eyes of Richard gave him defiance. But which of you was by? You, cousin Neville, as I may remember, when Richard, with his eye brimful of tears, then checked and rated by Northumberland, did speak these words, now proved a prophecy. Northumberland, thou ladder by the which my cousin Bolingbroke ascends my throne. Though then, heaven knows, I had no such intent, but that necessity so bowed the state that I and greatness were compelled to kiss. The time shall come, thus did he follow it. The time will come that foul sin gathering head shall break into corruption. So went on, foretelling the same time's condition and the division of our amity.
There is a history in all men's lives, figuring the nature of the times deceased, the which observed a man may prophesy, with a near aim of the main chance of things as yet not to come to life, which in their seeds and weak beginnings lie intreasured. Such things become the hatch and brood of time, and by the necessary form of this, King Richard might create a perfect guess that great Northumberland, then false to him, would of that seed grow to a greater falseness, which should not find a ground to root upon, unless on you.
Are these things then necessities? And then let us meet them like necessities. And that same word even now cries out on us. They say the Bishop and Northumberland are 50,000 strong.
It cannot be, my lord. Rumour doth double, like the voice and echo, the numbers of the feared. Please it your grace to go to bed. Upon my life, my lord, the powers that you already have sent forth shall bring this prize in very easily. To comfort you the more, I have received a certain instance that Glendower is dead. Your majesty hath been this fortnight ill, and these unseasoned hours perforce must add unto your sickness.
I will take your counsel, and were these inward wars once out of hand, we would, dear lords, unto the Holy Land. Oh my god, we've got another one of these. We've got another one of these huge fucking scenes where fuck all happens. Should we take an interval and then maybe conveniently forget that one? let's take 5 minutes to have a cup of tea and a piece of chocolate. If you've just joined us, which I think several hundred people just did somehow, welcome along. If you're totally unfamiliar, my name's Ollie Thorne. I'm a YouTuber. I run a channel called PhilosophyTube. We are streaming the complete works of Shakespeare. Basically, we started last night. We've been going must have been about 20 hours now, yeah, we started last night. We're going to be going till about Tuesday night to get through all of Shakespeare's plays to raise money for the Samaritans, who are a mental health charity. They help people in emotional distress. They have a very famous suicide hotline, but they help all people in all kinds of emotional distress. And they also saved my life over a year ago, so that's why I'm raising money for them. And so far we have raised $36,930. We've had guests on the stream of all kinds. We had Jim Sterling on last night, who was the Two Gentlemen of Verona. We had De Things, who's a YouTuber, on. We had Sonic Fox, who played Hector, and I was Achilles, and I killed him before the walls of Troy. We've got a lot of other guests lined up who want to come on over the weekend. And when we do Midsummer Night's Dream later on, we're hoping to get a very special guest, is Titania. So we're raising a lot of money. It's for charity. Please donate whenever you can. Let's take 5 minutes and I'm going to pee and have some chocolate, and then we'll come back. But thanks so much, everybody. Okie dokie. We are back with Henry IV, Part 1. Act 4, Scene 1, which we were definitely up to. Yeah, Act 4, Scene 1, everybody. So here comes the Archbishop, that's me, Mowbray, and so I was to say, like, Alice, who's producing it, like, writes me a list of all the ones that I'm playing before we do a show, so I can just, like, make sure that I'm doing all the right roles and stuff. It's great. But yeah, so far my verdict on this play, oh my gosh, I've just noticed we've reached $37,000. Wow, that's incredible. And we haven't even been going 24 hours yet, and we're already at 37,000. Like, amazing. Thank you so much to everyone for all your donations. Like, wow. I don't want to get too emotional, but I'm sure I'll be able to say something at the end. But I'm already feeling the feelings. I'm really glad I put in the time to put those gifts in there as well. All right. So here we go. It's the Archbishop, it's Mowbray, and it's Hastings. The Archbishop of York says, "What is this forest called?"
"'Tis Goldtree Forest, it shall please your grace."
"Here stand, my lords, and send discoverers forth to know the numbers of our enemies."
"We have sent forth already."
"'Tis well done. My friends and brethren in these great affairs, I must acquaint you that I have received new dated letters from Northumberland. Their called intent, tenor, and substance thus: Here doth he wish his person with such powers as might hold sortance with his quality, the which he could not levy, whereupon he is retired to ripe his growing fortunes to Scotland, and concludes in hearty prayers that your attempts may overlive the hazard and fearful meeting of their opposite."
Thus do the hopes we have in him touch ground and dash themselves to pieces.
In comes a messenger.
"Now, what news?"
West of his forest, scarcely of a mile, in goodly form comes on the enemy. And by the ground they hide, I judge their number upon or rear, near the rate of 30,000.
The just proportion that we gave them out. Let us sway on and face them in the field.
And here comes Westmoreland. And the Archbishop says, "Well, what appointed leader fronts us here?"
I think it is my Lord of Westmoreland.
Health and fair greetings from our general, the Prince, Lord John, and Duke of Lancaster.
"Say on, my lord of Westmoreland, in peace what doth concern your coming."
Then, my lord, unto your grace do I, in chief address, the substance of my speech. If that rebellion came like itself in base and abject routs, led on by bloody youth, guarded with rags, and countenanced by boys and beggary, I say, if damned commotion so appeared in its true, native, and most proper shape, you, reverend father, and these noble lords had not been here, to dress the ugly form of base and bloody insurrection with your fair honours, you, Lord Archbishop, whose see is by a civil peace maintained, whose beard the silver hand of peace hath touched, whose learning and good letters peace hath tutored, whose white investments figure innocence, the dove and very blessed spirit of peace. Wherefore do you so ill translate yourself, out of the speech of peace that bears such grace into the harsh and boisterous tongue of war, turning your books to graves, your ink to blood, your pens to lances, and your tongues divine to a trumpet and a point of war?
"Wherefore do I this?" So the question stands. "Briefly to this end, we are all diseased, and with our surfeiting and wanton hours have brought ourselves into a burning fever, and we must bleed for it, of which disease our late King Richard, being infected, died. But my most noble lord of Westmoreland, I take not on me here as a physician, nor do I as an enemy to peace troop in the throngs of military men, but rather show a while, like fearful war, to diet rank minds sick of happiness, and purge the obstructions which begin to stop our very veins of life. Hear me more plainly. I have an equal balance justly weighed what wrongs our arms may do, what wrongs we suffer, and find our griefs heavier than our offences. We see which way the stream of time doth run, and are enforced from our most quiet there by the rough torrent of occasion, and have the summary of all our griefs when time shall serve to show in articles, which long ere this we offered to the king, and might by no suit gain our audience. When we are wronged and would unfold our griefs, we are denied access unto his person, even by those men that most have done us wrong. The dangers of the days but newly gone, whose memory is written on the earth with yet appearing blood, and the examples of every minute's instance, present now, hath put us in these ill-beseeming arms, not to break peace or any branch of it, but to establish here a peace indeed, concurring both in name and quality.
When ever yet was your appeal denied? Wherein have you been galled by the king? What peer hath been suborned to grate on you, that you would seal this lawless bloody book of forged rebellions with a seal divine and consecrate commotion's bitter edge?
My brother general of the Commonwealth, I make my quarrel in particular.
There is no need of any such redress, or if there were, it not belongs to you.
Why not to him in part, and to us all that feel the bruises of the days before, and suffer the condition of these times to lay a heavy and unequal hand upon our honours?
Oh, my good Lord Mowbray, construe the times to their necessities, and you shall say indeed it is the time, and not the king, that doth you injuries. Yet for your part, it not appears to me, either from the king or in the present time, that you should have an inch of any ground to build a grief on. Were you not restored to all the Duke of Norfolk's signories, your noble and right, well-remembered fathers?
What thing in honour had my father lost that need to be revived and breathed in me? The king that loved him as the state stood them was, force perforce, compelled to banish him, and then that Henry Bolingbroke and he, being mounted and both roused in their seats, their neighing coursers daring off the spur, their armed staves in charge, their beavers down, their eyes of fire sparkling through sights of steel, and the loud trumpet blowing them together, then, when there was nothing could have stayed, my father from the beast of Bolingbroke, oh, when the king did throw his wonder down, his own life hung upon the staff he threw, then threw he down himself and all their lives, that by indictment, and by dint of sword have since miscarried under Bolingbroke.
You speak, Lord Mowbray, now you know not what. The Earl of Hereford was reputed then in England the most valiant gentleman. Who knows on whom fortune would have then smiled? But if your father had been victor there, he ne'er had been born out of Coventry. For all the country, in a general voice, cried hate upon him, and all their prayers and love were set on Hereford, whom they doted on, and blessed and graced indeed, more than the king. But this is mere discretion from my purpose. Herefrom I come, our princely general, to know your griefs, to tell you from this grace that he will give you audience, and wherein it shall appear that your demands are just. You shall enjoy them, everything set off that might so much as think you enemies.
But he hath forced us to compel this offer, and it proceeds from policy, not love.
Mowbray, you overween to take it so. This offer comes from mercy, not from fear. For lo, within a ken our army lies, upon mine honour, all too confident to give admittance to a thought of fear. Our battle is more full of names than yours, our men more perfect in the use of arms, our armours are all as strong, our cause the best. Then reason with our heart should be as good, say you not, then our offer is compelled.
Well, by my will we shall admit no parley.
That argues but the shame of your offence. A rotten case abides no handling.
Hath the Prince John a full commission in very ample virtue of his father to hear and absolutely to determine of what conditions we shall stand upon?
That is intended in the general's name. I muse you make so slight a question.
Then take, my lord of Westmoreland, this schedule, for this contains our general grievances, each several article herein redressed, and members of our cause, both here and hence, that are insinued to this action, acquitted by a true substantial form and present execution of our wills, to us and to our purposes confined, we come within our awful banks again, and knit our powers to the arm of peace.
This will I show to the general. Please you, lords, in sight of both our battles we may meet, and either end in peace, which God so frame, or to the place of difference we call the swords, which must decide it.
My lord, we will do so.
There is a thing within my bosom tells me that no conditions of our peace can stand.
Fear you not, if we can make our peace upon such large terms and so absolute as our conditions shall consist upon, our peace shall stand as firm as rocky mountains.
Aye, but our valuation shall be such that every slight and false derived cause, yea, every idle, nice, and wanton reason, shall to the king taste of this action. That, were our royal faith's martyrs in love, we shall be winnowed with so rough a wind that even our corn shall seem as light as chaff, and good from bad find no partition.
No, no, my lord. Note this, the king is weary of dainty and such picking grievances, for he hath found to end one doubt by death revives two greater in the heirs of life, and therefore will he wipe his tables clean and keep no telltale to his memory that may repeat, and history is lost to new remembrance. For full well he knows he cannot so precisely weed this land as his misdoubts present occasion. His foes are so enrooted with his friends that plucking to unfix an enemy who doth unfasten show and shake a friend, so that this land like an offensive wife that hath enraged him on to offer strokes, as he is striking, holds his infant up and hangs resolved correction in the arm that was to that was upreared to execution.
Besides, the king hath wasted all his rods on late offenders, that he now doth lack the very instruments of chastisement, so that his power, like the fangless lion, may offer but not hold.
'Tis very true, and therefore be assured, my good Lord Marshal, if we do now make our atonement well, our peace will, like a broken limb united, grow stronger for the breaking.
Be it so. Here is returned my lord of Westmoreland.
Westmoreland's back.
The prince is here at hand. Pleaseth your lordship to meet his grace just distance between our armies.
Your Grace of York, in God's name then, set forward.
Before, and greet his grace. My lord, we come. And here comes Prince John, who's Hal's brother. I can be Prince John if we need. I can negotiate with myself. You are well encountered here, my cousin Mowbray. Good day to you, gentle Lord Archbishop, and so to you, Lord Hastings, and to all. My Lord of York, it better showed with you when that your flock assembled by the bell encircled you to hear with reverence your exposition on the holy text, than now to see you here an Iron Man. Than now to see you here as Iron Man, cheering a rout of rebels with your drum, turning the word to sword and life to death, that man that sits within a monarch's heart, and ripens in the sunshine of his favour would he abuse the countenance of the king. Alack, what mischiefs might he set approach in shadow of such greatness? With you, Lord Bishop, it is even so. Who hath not heard it spoken how deep you were within the books of heaven? To us the speaker in his parliament, to us the imagined voice of heaven itself, the very opener and intelligencer between the grace, the sanctities of heaven, and our dull workings. Oh, who shall believe? But you misuse the reverence of your place, employ the countenance and grace of heaven as a false favourite doth his prince's name in deeds dishonourable. You have taken up under the counterfeited zeal of heaven the subjects of heaven's substitute, my father. You have taken up under the counterfeited seal of heaven the subjects of heaven's substitute, my father, and both against the peace of heaven and him have here upswarmed them. Good my lord of Lancaster, I am not here against your father's peace, but as I told my lord of Westmoreland, at the time this order doth in common sense crowd us and crush us to this monstrous form, to hold our safety up. I sent your grace the parcels and particulars of our grief, the which hath been with scorn shoved from the court, whereon this Hydra, son of war, is born, whose dangerous eyes may well be charmed to sleep with grant of our most just and right desires, and true obedience of this madness cured, stoop tamely to the foot of majesty.
If not, we are ready to try our fortunes to the last man.
And though we here fall down, we have supplies to second our attempt. If they miscarry, theirs shall second them, and so success of mischief shall be born, and heir from heir shall hold this quarrel up, or England shall have generation.
You are too shallow, Hastings, much too shallow, to sound the bottom of the after times.
Pleaseth your grace to answer them directly how far forth you do like their articles.
I like them all, and do allow them well, and swear here by the honour of my blood my father's purposes have been mistook, and some about him have too lavishly wrested his meaning and authority. My lord, these griefs shall be with speed redressed, upon my life they shall. If this may please you, discharge your powers unto their several counties, as we will ours, and here between the armies, let's drink together, friendly, and embrace, that all their eyes may bear those tokens home of our restored love and amity. I take your princely word for these redresses, I give it you, and will maintain my word, and thereupon I drink unto your grace.
Go, captain, and deliver to the army this news of peace. Let them have pay and part. I know it will please them. Hear thee, captain.
To you, my noble lord of Westmoreland.
I pledge your grace, and if you knew what pains I've bestowed to breed this present peace, you would drink freely, but my love to ye shall show itself more openly hereafter.
I do not doubt you.
I'm glad of it. Health to my lord and gentle cousin Mowbray.
You wish me health in a very happy season, for I am on the sudden something ill.
Against ill chances men are ever merry, but heaviness foreruns the good event.
Therefore be merry, coz, since sudden sorrow serves to say thus, some good things comes tomorrow.
Believe me, I am passing light in spirit.
So much the worse if her own rule be true.
The word of peace is rendered. Hark, how they shout!
This had been a cheerful after victory.
A peace is of the nature of a conquest, for then both parties nobly are subdued, and neither party loser. Go, my lord, and let our army be discharged too. And good my lord, so please you, let our trains march by us, that we may peruse the men we should have coped withal. Go, Lord Hastings, and ere they be dismissed, let them march by. I trust, lords, we shall lie tonight together. He probably didn't actually mean it like that, but that's how I read it. Enter Westmoreland. Now, cousin, wherefore stands our army still?
The leaders, having charged from you to stand, will not go off until they hear you speak.
They know their duties.
My lord, our army is dispersed like youthful steers unyoked. They take their courses east, west, north, south, or like a school broke up. Each hurries home towards his home and sporting place.
Good tidings, my lord Hastings, for the which I do arrest thee, traitor of high treason. And you, Lord Archbishop, and you, Lord Mowbray, of capital treason, I attach you both.
Is this proceeding just and honourable?
Is your assembly so?
Will you thus break your faith? I pawned thee none. I promised you redress of these same grievances whereof you did complain, which by mine honour I will perform with a most Christian care. But for you, rebels, look to taste the due meet for rebellion and such acts as yours. Most shallowly did you these arms commence, fondly brought here and foolishly sent hence. Strike up our drums, pursue the scattered stray. Heaven and not we have safely fought today. Some guard these traitors to the block of death, treason's true bed and yielder up of breath. They leave, and for some reason Falstaff is here. And he says, and Colville, who is not me. And Falstaff says, what's your name, sir? Of what condition are you, and what place, I pray?
I'm a knight, sir, and my name is Colville of the Dale.
Well then, Colville is your name, a knight is your degree, and your place the Dale. Colville shall still be your name, a traitor your degree, and the dungeon your place, a place deep enough, so you shall still be Colville of the Dale.
Are you not Sir John Falstaff?
As good a man as he, sir, whoe'er I am. Do ye yield, sir, or shall I sweat for you? If I do sweat, they are the drops of thy lovers, and they weep for thy death. Therefore rouse up fear and trembling, and do observance to my mercy.
I think you are Sir John Falstaff, and in that thought yield me.
Ah, I have a whole school of tongues in this belly of mine, and not a tongue of them all speaks any other word but my name. And I had but a belly of any indifferency. I was simply the most active fellow in Europe. My womb undoes me. Here comes our general. Prince John comes in with Westmoreland. He comes in on a horse, apparently. The heat is past. Follow no further now. Call in the powers, good cousin Westmoreland. Now, Falstaff, where have you been all this while? When everything is ended, then you come. These tardy tricks of yours will on my life one time or other break some gallows back. Oh, I would be sorry, my lord, but it should be thus. I never knew yet, but rebuke and check was the reward of valour. Do you think me a swallow, an arrow, or a bullet? Have I, in my poor and old motion, the expedition of thought? I have speeded hither with the very extremest inch of possibility. I have founded 90 and odd posts, and here, travel tainted as I am, have in my pure and immaculate valour taken Sir John Colville of the Dale, a most furious knight and a valorous enemy. But what of that? He saw me and yielded, that I may justly say with the hook-nosed fellow of Rome, I came, I saw, and overcame. It was more of his courtesy than your deserving. I know not, here he is, and here I yield him. And I beseech your grace, let it be booked with the rest of the day's deeds, or I swear I will have it in a particular ballad, with mine own picture on the top of it. Colville kissing my foot, to the which course if it be enforced, if you do not all show like gilt 2 pences to me, and in the dear clear sky of fame overshine you as much as the full moon doth the cinders of the element, which shows like pins' heads to her, believe not the word of the noble, therefore let me have the right, and let desert mount. Thine's too heavy to mount. That's the one joke we have. He's fat. I hope you like that joke, because it's in every single scene he's in. Let it shine, then. Thine's too thick to shine. Let it do something, my lord, that it may do me good, and call it what you will. Is thy name Colville?
It is, my lord.
A famous rebel thou art, Colville. And a famous true subject took him.
I am, my lord. But as my betters are, that led me hither, had they been ruled by me, you should have won them dearer than you have.
I know not how they sold themselves, but thou, like a kind fellow, gavest thyself away, and I thank thee for thee. Enter Westmoreland. Have you left pursuit?
Retreat is made, and execution stayed.
Send Colville with his confederates to York to present execution. Blunt, lead him hence and see you guard him sure. Here! Oh, that Blunt and the others leave, but I have all to say. And now dispatch we toward the court, my lords. I hear the king my father is sore sick. Our news shall go before us to his majesty, which cousin you shall bear to comfort him, and we with sober speed will follow you. My lord, I do beseech you give me leave to go through Gloucestershire, and when you come to court, stand, my good lord, pray in your good report. Fare you well, Falstaff. I, in my condition, shall better speak of you than you deserve. Here! I would you had but the wit. 'Twere better than your dukedom. Good faith, this same young sober-blooded boy doth not love me, nor a man cannot make him laugh, but that's no marvel, he drinks no wine. As never any of these demure boys come to any proof, for thing drink doth so overcool their blood, and making many fish meals, that they fall into a kind of male green sickness, and then when they marry, they get wenches. They are generally fools and cowards, which some of us should be too, but for inflammation. A good sherry sack hath a twofold operation in it. It ascends me into the brain, dries me there all the foolish and dull and curdy vapours which environ it, makes it apprehensive, quick, forgettive, full of nimble, fiery and delectable shapes, which delivered o'er to the voice, the tongue, which is the birth, becomes excellent wit. The second property of your excellent sherry is the warming of the blood, which before cold and settled left the liver white and pale, which is the badge of pusillanimity and cowardice, but the sherry warms it and makes it course from the inwards to the parts extremes. It illuminateth the face, which as a beacon gives warning to all the rest of this little kingdom, man to arm. And then the vital commoners and the inland petty spirits muster me all to their captain, the heart who, great and puffed up with his retinue, doth any deed of courage, and this valour comes out of sherry. So in that skill in the weapon is nothing without sack, for that sets it a work, and learning a mere hoard of gold kept by a devil, till sack commences it and sets it in act and use. Hereof comes it that Prince Henry is valiant, for the cold blood he did naturally inherit of his father, he hath, like lean, sterile, and bare land, manured, husbanded, and tilled with excellent endeavour of drinking good and good store of fertile sherry, that he has become very hot and valiant. If I had 1,000 sons, the first principle I would teach them is to be forswear thin potations, and to addict themselves to sack. How now, Bardolph?
The army is discharged all, and gone.
Well, let him go. I'll through Gloucestershire, and there will I visit my master Robert Shallow, Esquire. I have him already tempering between my finger and my thumb, and shortly will I seal with him. Come away. I'm just taking a look to see what else. Okay, so we've still got a fair bit to chew through. Okay, but in comes the king, and Warwick, and Clarence, and Gloucester. Now, lords, if heaven doth give successful end to this debate that bleedeth at our doors, we will our youth lead on to higher fields, and draw no swords but what are sanctified. Our navy is addressed, our power collected, our substitutes in absence well invested, and everything lies level to our wish. Only we want a little personal strength. And pause us till these rebels now afoot come underneath the yoke of government.
Both which we doubt not, but your majesty shall soon enjoy.
Humphrey, my son of Gloucester, where is the prince your brother?
I think he's gone to hunt, my lord, at Windsor.
And how accompanied?
I do not know, my lord.
Is not his brother, Thomas of Clarence, with him?
No, my good lord. He's in presence here.
Clarence is like, what would my lord and father? Nothing but well to thee, Thomas of Clarence. How chance thou art not with the prince thy brother? He loves thee, and thou dost neglect him. Thomas, thou hast a better place in his affection than all thy brothers. Cherish it, my boy. And noble offices thou mayest effect of mediation after I am dead, between his greatness and thy other brethren. Therefore omit him not, blunt not his love, nor lose the good advantage of his grace by seeming cold or careless of his will, for he is gracious, if he be observed. He hath a tear for piety, and a hand open as day for melting charity. Yet notwithstanding being incensed, he's flint, as humorous as winter, and as sudden as flaws congealed in the spring of day. His temper, therefore, must be well observed. Chide him for faults, and do it reverently. When you perceive his blood inclined to mirth, but being moody, give him line and scope, till that his passions, like a whale on ground, confound themselves with working. Learn this, Thomas, and thou shalt prove a shelter to thy friends, a hoop of gold to bind thy brothers in, that the united vessel of their blood, mingled with venom of suggestion, as force perforce the age will pour it in, shall never leak, though it do work as strong as aconitum or rash gunpowder. I shall observe him with all care and love. Why art thou not at Windsor with him, Thomas? He's not there today, he dines in London. And how accompanied? Canst thou tell that? With Poins and his other continual followers? Most subject is the fattest soil to weeds, and he, the noble image of my youth, is overspread with them, therefore my grief stretches itself beyond the hour of death. The blood weeps from my heart when I do shape in forms imaginary the unguided days and rotten times that you shall look upon when I am sleeping with my ancestors. For when his headstrong riot hath no curb, when rage and hot blood are his counsellors, when means and lavish manners meet together, oh, with what wings shall his affections fly towards fronting peril and opposed decay?
My gracious lord, you look beyond him quite. The prince but studies his companions like a strange tongue, wherein, to gain the language, 'tis needful that the most immodest word be looked upon and learned, which once attained, your highness knows, comes to no further use, but to be known and hated. So, like gross terms, the prince will, in the perfectness of time, cast off his followers, and their memory shall be a pattern as a measure to live, by which his grace must meet the lives of others, turning past evils to advantages.
'Tis seldom when the bee doth leave her comb in the dead carrion. Who's here? Westmoreland?
Health to my sovereign, and new happiness added to that I am to deliver. Prince John, your son, doth kiss your grace's hand. Mowbray, the bishop's group, Hastings and all are brought to the correction of your law. There is not now a rebel sword unsheathed, but peace puts forth her olive everywhere. The manner how this action hath been done, here at more leisure may your highness read, with every course in his particular.
O Westmoreland, thou art a summer bird, which ever in the haunch of winter sings the lifting up of day. Look, here's more news. In comes a guy called Harcourt. Who wants to be Harcourt?
From enemies heaven keep your majesty, and when they stand against you, may they fall as those that I come to tell you of, the Earl Northumberland and the Lord Beldorf, with a great power of England and of Scots, are by the sheriffs of Yorkshire overthrown. The manner and true order of the fight, this packet, please it you, contains at large.
And wherefore should these good news make me sick? Will fortune never come with both hands full, but write her fair words still in foulest letters? She either gives a stomach and no food, such are the poor in health, or else a feast and takes away the stomach, such are the rich, that have abundance and enjoy it not. I should rejoice now at this happy news, and now my sight fails and my brain is giddy. Oh me, come near me, now I am much ill.
Comfort your majesty.
Oh, my royal father.
My sovereign lord, cheer up yourself. Look up.
Be patient, princes. You do know these fits are with his highness very ordinary. Stand from him, give him air, he'll straight be well.
No, no, he cannot long hold out. These pangs, the incessant care and labour of his mind, hath wrought the mure that should confine it in, so thin that life looks through and will break out.
The people fear me, for they do observe unfathered airs and loathly birds of nature. The seasons changed their manners, as the year had found some months asleep and leapt them over.
The river hath thrice flowed, no ebb between, and the old folk, time's doting chronicles, say it did so a little time before than our great grandsire Edward sicked and died.
Speak lower, princes, for the king recovers.
This apoplexy will certainly be his end.
I pray you take me up and bear me hence into some other chamber. Softly pray, let there be no noise made, my gentle friends, unless some dull and favourable hand will whisper music to my weary spirit.
Call for the music in the other room.
Set me the crown upon my pillow here. His eye is hollow, and he changes much.
Less noise, less noise.
In comes Prince Henry. Who saw the Duke of Clarence? Oh, I am here, brother, full of heaviness. How now? Rain within doors and none abroad? How doth the king?
Exceeding ill.
Heard he the good news yet? Tell it him.
He altered much upon the hearing it.
If he be sick with joy, he'll recover without physic.
Not so much noise, my lord. Sweet prince, speak low. The king your father is disposed to sleep.
Let us withdraw into the other room.
Wilt please your grace to go along with us?
No, I will sit here and watch by the king. Everybody except Prince Henry leaves, so now he's alone in the room with his dad who's dying and the crown. Why doth the crown lie there upon his pillow? Is there somewhere I can, like... I'm gonna give you a second to... let's see if I can... Yeah! Then you can actually see it. Why doth the crown lie there upon his pillow, being so troublesome a bedfellow? O polished perturbation, golden care, that keeps the ports of slumber open wide to many a watchful night. Sleep with it now, yet not so sound and half so deeply sweet as he whose brow with homely biggin bound snores out the watch of night. O majesty, when thou dost pinch thy bearer, thou dost sit like a rich armour worn in heat of day, that skulks with safety. By his gates of breath there lies a downy feather which stirs not. Did he suspire that light and weightless down perforce must move? My gracious lord, my father, this sleep is sound indeed. This is a sleep that from his golden wriggle hath divorced so many English kings. Thy due from me is tears and heavy sorrows of the blood, which nature, love, and filial tenderness shall, O dear father, pay thee plenteously. My due from thee is this imperial crown, which as immediate from thy place and blood derives itself to me. Lo, here it sits, which heaven shall guard, and put the world's whole strength into one giant arm, it shall not force this lineal honour from me. 'Tis from thee will I to mine leave, as 'tis left to me. And he leaves, with the crown on. And then Henry wakes up. Warwick, Gloucester, Clarence! Doth the king call?
What would your majesty? How fares your grace?
Why did you leave me here alone, my lords? We left the prince, my brother, here, my liege, who undertook to sit and watch by you. The Prince of Wales, where is he? Let me see him.
He is not here. The door is open. He is gone this way.
He came not through the chamber where we stayed.
Where is the crown? Who took it from my pillow?
When we withdrew, my liege, we left it here.
The prince hath ta'en it hence. Go seek him out. Is he so hasty that he doth suppose my sleep my death? Find him, my lord of Warwick. Chide him hither. This part of his conjoins with my disease and helps to end me. See, sons, what things you are, how quickly nature falls into revolt when gold becomes her object. For this the foolish, over-careful fathers have broke their sleeps with thoughts, their brains with care, their bones with industry. For this they have engrossed and piled up the cankered heaps of strange achieved gold. For this they had been thoughtful to invest their sons with arts and martial exercise. When like the bee culling from every flower the virtuous sweets, our thighs packed with wax, our mouths with honey, we bring it to the hive, and like the bees are murdered for our pains, this bitter taste yields his engrossments to the ending father. Now where is he that will not stay so long till his friend's sickness hath determined me?
My lord, I found the prince in the next room, washing with kindly tears his gentle cheeks, with such a deep demeanour and great sorrow, that tyranny, which never quaffed but blood, would, by beholding him, have washed his knife with gentle eye drops. He is coming hither.
But wherefore did he take the crown? Enter Prince Henry with the crown. Lo, where he comes. Come hither to me, Harry. Depart the chamber. Leave us here alone. Everybody leaves except the king and Prince Henry. I never thought to hear you speak again. Thy wish was farther, Harry, to that thought. I stay too long by thee, I weary thee. Dost thou so hunger for my empty chair, that thou wilt needs invest thee with mine honours before thy hour be ripe? O foolish youth, thou seek'st the greatness that will overwhelm thee. Stay but a little, for my cloud of dignity is held from falling with so weak a wind that it will quickly drop. My day is dim. Thou hast stolen that which after some few hours were thine without offence, and at my death thou hast steeled up my expectation. Thy life did manifest thou lovest me not, and thou wilt have me die assured of it. Thou hidst 1,000 daggers in thy thoughts, which thou hast whetted on thy stony heart to stab at half an hour of my life. What? Canst thou not forbear me half an hour? Then get thee gone and dig my grave thyself, and bid the merry bells ring to thine ear that thou art crowned, not that I am dead. Let all the tears that should bedew my hearse be drops of balm to sanctify thy head, only compound me with forgotten dust. Give that which gave thee life unto the worms. Pluck down my offices, break my decrees, for now a time is come to mock at form. Henry the Fifth is crowned, up vanity, down royal state, all you sage counsellors hence, and to the English court assemble thou, from every region apes of idleness. Now neighbour confines, purge you of your scum. Have you a ruffian that will swear, drink, dance, revel the night, rob, murder, and commit the oldest sins, the newest kind of ways? Be happy, he will trouble you no more. England shall double gild his treble guilt. England shall give him office, honour, might. For thee, 5th Harry, from curbed licence plucks the muzzle of restraint, and the wild dog shall flesh his tooth in every innocent. O my poor kingdom, sick with civil blows! When that my care could not withhold thy riots, what wilt thou do when riot is thy care? O thou wilt be a wilderness again, peopled with wolves, thy old inhabitants. Oh, pardon me, my liege, but for my tears, the moist impediments unto my speech, I had forestalled this dear and deep rebuke. Ere you with grief had spoken, I had heard the course of it so far. There is your crown. And he that wears the crown immortally, long guard it yours. If I affect it more than as your honour and as your renown, let me no more from this obedience rise, which my most true and inward duteous spirit teacheth this prostrate and exterior bending. Heaven witness with me, when I here came in, and found no course of breath within your majesty, how cold it struck my heart. If I do feign, oh let me in my present wildness die, and never live to show the incredulous world the noble change that I have purposed. Coming to look on you, thinking you dead, and dead almost, my liege, to think you were, I spake unto the crown as having sense, and thus upbraided it. The care on thee depending hath fed upon the body of my father. Therefore thou best of gold art worst of gold. Other less fine in carrot is more precious, preserving life in medicinable potable. But thou, most fine, most honoured, most renowned, hast eat the bearer up. Thus, my royal liege, accusing it, I put it on my head, to try with it as with an enemy that had before my face murdered my father, the quarrel of a true inheritor. But if it did infect my blood with joy, or swell my thoughts to any strain of pride, if any rebel or vain spirit of mine did with the least affection of a welcome give entertainment to the might of it, let heaven forever keep it from my head, and make me as the poorest vassal is that doth with awe and terror kneel to it. O my son, heaven put it in thy mind to take it hence, that thou mightst join the more thy father's love, pleading so wisely in excuse of it. Come hither, Harry. Sit thou by my bed, and hear, I think, the very latest counsel that ever I shall breathe. Heaven knows, my son, by what by-paths and indirect crooked ways I met this crown, and I myself know well how troublesome it sat upon my head. To thee it shall descend with better quiet, better opinion, better confirmation, for all the soil of the achievement goes with me into the earth. It seemed in me but as an honour snatched with boisterous hand, and I had many living to upbraid my gain of it by their assistances, which daily grew to quarrel and to bloodshed, wounding supposed peace. All these bold fears thou seest with peril I have answered, for all my reign hath been but as a scene acting that argument. And now my death changes the mood, for what in me was purchased falls upon thee in a more fairer sort. So thou the garland wearest successively, yet though thou standst more sure than I could do, thou art not firm enough, since griefs are green, and all thy friends, which thou must make thy friends, have but their strings and teeth newly taken out, by whose fell working I was first advanced, and by whose power I well might lodge a fear to be again displaced, which to avoid, I cut them off, and had a purpose now to lead out many to the Holy Land, lest rest and lying still might make them look too near unto my state. Therefore, my Harry, be it thy course to busy giddy minds with foreign quarrels, that action, hence borne out, may waste the memory of the former days, more would I. But my lungs are wasted so, that strength of speech is utterly denied me. How I came by the crown, O heaven forgive, and grant it may with thee in true peace live. my gracious liege, you won it, wore it, kept it, gave it me. And then plain and right must my possession be, which I with more than with a common pain gainst all the world will rightfully maintain. Here comes the John of Lancaster and Warwick. Look, look, here comes my John of Lancaster. Health, peace, and happiness to my royal father. Thou bringst me happiness and peace, son John, but health alack with useful wings is flown from this bare withered trunk. Upon thy sight my worldly business makes a period. Where is my Lord of Warwick? My Lord of Warwick! Doth any name particular belong unto the lodging where I first did swoon?
'Tis called Jerusalem, my noble lords.
Lord be to heaven, e'en there my life must end. It hath been prophesied to me many years I should not die but in Jerusalem, which vainly I suppose the Holy Land. But bear me to that chamber, there I'll lie. In that Jerusalem shall Harry die. Oh, F's in the chat for King Henry IV. Yep, F's in the chat. I just looked ahead, he's dead. In the meantime, it's do we want to do this scene? How are we? How do we feel? Do we want to do this comedy scene when nothing happens, or do we want to skip it?
I'd say that's completely up to you, as the last time.
I mean, timing is
What's that?
you can skip it for timing if you want.
Oh yeah, we're already on 4 o'clock, and we've got another one to do before 7. So, yeah, we might just have to. Oh well, it's only. No, I forgot. We just got to skip it. We're on time. We're on time. Act 5, Scene 2. Falstaff comes in. You know Falstaff by now. We've had 2 whole plays of Falstaff. I'll do the summary. Falstaff and the lads, they go in a pub. They're drunk. There's a lot of puns. He burps. Yeah. It's you know Falstaff. You know Falstaff. You know what he's about. You've seen him before. All right. Act 5, Scene 2. Here comes the Earl of Warwick and the Lord Chief Justice.
How now, my Lord Chief Justice, whither away?
How doth the king?
Exceeding well. His cares are now all ended.
I hope not dead.
He's walked the way of nature, and to our purpose he lives no more.
I would his majesty had called me with him. The service that I truly did in his life hath left me open to all injuries.
Indeed, I think the young king loves you not.
I know he doth not, and do arm myself to welcome the condition of the time, which cannot look more hideously upon me than I have drawn it in my fantasy. Here comes John of Lancaster, Gloucester, and Clarence, and a bunch of other people.
Here come the heavy issue of dead Harry, or that the living Harry had the temper of him, the worst of these 3 gentlemen. How many nobles then should hold their places that must strike sail to spirits of vile sort?
Alas, I fear all will be overturned. Prince John says, Good morrow, cousin. Cousin Warwick. Good morrow, cousin Warwick. Good morrow. Oh, good morrow, cousin. We meet like men that had forgot to speak.
We do remember, but our argument is all too heavy to admit much talk.
Well, peace be with him that hath made us heavy. Peace be with us, lest we be heavier.
Oh, good my lord, you have lost a friend indeed. And I dare swear you borrow not that face of seeming sorrow, it is sure your own.
Though no man be assured what grace to find, you stand in coldest expectation. I am the sorrier, would 'twere otherwise. Well, now you must speak Sir John Falstaff fair, which swims against your stream of quality. Sweet princes, what I did in honour, led by the impartial conduct of my soul, and never shall you see that I will beg, as a ragged and forestalled remission. If troth and upright innocency fail me, I'll to the king my master that is dead, and tell him who hath sent me after him.
Here comes the prince.
Enter Prince Henry, now King Henry the 5th. Good morrow, and heaven save your majesty. This new and gorgeous garment, majesty, sits not so easy on me as you think. Brothers, you mix your sadness with some fear. This is the English, not the Turkish court. Not Amara and Amara succeeds, but Harry. Yet be sad, good brothers, for to speak truth it very well becomes you. Sorrow so royally in you appears, that I will deeply put the fashion on and wear it in my heart. Why then be sad? But entertain no more of it, good brothers, than a joint burden laid upon us all. For me, by heaven, I bid you be assured, I'll be your father and your brother too. Let me but bear your love, I'll bear your cares. But weep that Harry is dead, and so will I. But Harry lives that shall convert those tears by number into hours of happiness. We hope no other from your majesty. You all look strangely on me, and you most. You are, I think, assured I love you not. I am assured. Ooh. Whoops. I knew that was going to happen at some stage. Sorry, give me a second to fix this mic. Hang on a second. There it is. Got him. We'll fix it in more detail later. Anyway, I am assured, if I be measured rightly, your majesty hath no cause to hate me. No? How might a prince of my great hopes forget so great indignities you laid upon me? What, rate, rebuke, and roughly send to prison the immediate heir of England? Was this easy? May this be washed in Lethe and forgotten? I then did use the person of your father. The image of his power lay then in me, and in the administration of his law, whilst I was busy for the Commonwealth. Your Highness pleased to forget my place, the majesty and power of law and justice, the image of the king whom I presented, and struck me in my very seat of judgment, whereon as an offender to your father I gave bold way to my authority, and did commit you. If the deed were ill, be you contested, wearing now the garland, to have a son set your decrees at naught? To pluck down justice from your awful bench? To trip the course of law, and blunt the sword that guards the peace and safety of your person? Nay more, to spurn at your most royal image, and mock your workings in a second body, question your royal thoughts, make the case yours, be now the father and propose a son, hear your own dignity so much profaned, see your most dreadful laws so loosely slighted, behold yourself so by a son disdained, and then imagine me taking your part, and in your power soft silencing your son. After this cold considerance sentence me, and as you are a king, speak in your state what I have done that misbecame my place, my person, or my liege's sovereignty. You are right, Justice, and you weigh this well. Therefore still bear the balance and the sword. And I do wish your honours may increase till you do live to see a son of mine offend you and obey you as I did. So shall I live to speak my father's words. Happy am I that have a man so bold, that dares do justice on my proper son, and no less happy having such a son than would deliver up his greatness so into the hands of justice. You did commit me, for which I do commit into your hand the unstained sword that you have used to bear, with this remembrance, that you use the same with the like bold, just, and impartial spirit have you have done against me. There is my hand. You shall be as a father to my youth. My voice shall sound as you do prompt mine ear, and I will stoop and humble my intents to your well-practised wise directions. And princes all, believe me, I beseech you. My father is gone wild into his grave, for in his tomb lie my affections, and with his spirits sadly I survive to mock the expectation of the world, to frustrate prophecies, and to raise out rotten opinion, who hath writ me down after my seeming. The tide of blood in me hath proudly flowed in vanity till now. Now doth it turn and ebb back to the sea, where it shall mingle with the state of floods, and flow henceforth in former majesty. Now call we our High Court of Parliament, and let us choose such limbs of noble counsel than the great body of our state may go in equal rank with the best governed nation, that war or peace, or both at once, may be as things acquainted and familiar to us, in which you, father, shall have foremost hand. Our coronation done, we will excite, as I before remembered, all our state, and heaven consigning to my good intents, no prince nor peer shall have just cause to say, heaven shorten Harry's happy life one day. I think like the next two scenes are all like Falstaff and the lads. So I think the Tom Hiddleston version ended there, but do we want to Yeah.
It depends on how much banter you want to do.
Let's banter. Lads, we cut some of the lads. Let's have the lads. So here comes Falstaff and the lads.
Nay, you shall see mine orchard, where, in an arbour, we shall eat a last year's pippin of my own graffing, with a dish of caraways and so forth. Come, cousin Silence, and then to bed.
You have here a goodly dwelling and a rich...
Baron, 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 beggars all, beggars all. Sir John, marry, good air. Spread Davy, well said, Davy.
This Davy serves you for good uses. He is your serving man and your husband.
A good varlet, a very good varlet, Sir John. By the mass, I have drunk too much sack at supper. A good varlet. Now sit down. Come, cousin.
Ah, sirrah, quotha, we shall do nothing but eat and make good cheer.
And praise heaven for the merry year, when flesh is cheap and females dear, and lusty lads roam here and there so merrily, and ever among so merrily. There's a merry heart. Good Master Silence, I'll give you health for that anon.
Give Master Bardolph some wine, Davy.
Ha ha.
Davy, sweet sir, sit, and I'll be with you in anon. Most sweet sir, sit. Master Page, good Master Page, sit. Proface, what you want in meat we'll have in drink, but you must bear the hearts all. Be merry, Master Bardolph, and my little soldier there, be merry.
Be merry, my wife has all.
That's all for women are shrews, but short and tall. 'Tis merry in hall when beards waggle, and welcome merry Shrovetide. Shrovetide. I did not think Master Silence had been a man of this metal.
Who, I? I have been married twice, or once, you know.
Davy comes in with a dish of apples.
There is a dish of leather coats for you. Davy, your worship, I'll be with you straight. A cup of wine, sir?
A cup of wine that's brisk and fine. To the landman mine, and a merry heart lives long. I thought. I'm sorry, you were so good.
Well said, Master Silence. Well said.
And we shall be merry. Now comes in the sweet of the night.
Health and long life to you, Master Silence.
Fill the cup and let it come. I'll pledge you a mile to the bottom.
Honest Bardolph, welcome. If thou wanted anything, and wilt not cool beshrew thy heart, welcome, my tiny little thief. And welcome indeed too. I'll drink to Master Bardolph, and to all the cavalieros about London. I hope to see London once ere I die. And I might see you there, Davy. By the mass, you'll crack a quart together, ha, will you not, Master Bardolph? Yea, sir, in a bottle pot. By God's liggins, I thank thee, the knave will stick by thee, I can assure you that. He will not out, he is a true bred, and I'll stick by him, sir. Why, there spoke a king, lack no thing. Be merry. Look, who sat there? Ho, who knocks?
Why, now you've done me right. Do me right.
You right.
Do not.
What? It's not so, 'tis so, 'tis so.
Is so? Well then, sane old man can do somewhat.
An it please your worship, there's one pistol come from the court with news.
From the court! Let him come in. How now? Pistol! Hey.
Sir John, God save you.
What wind blew you hither, Pistol?
Not the ill wind which blows no man to good. Sweet knight, thou art now one of the greatest men in this realm. Fair lady, I think it be but Goodman Puff of Burson. Puff, puff in thy teeth, most recreant coward base. Sir John, I am thy pistol and thy friend, and helter-skelter have I rode to thee, and tidings do I bring, and lucky joys, and golden times, and happy news of Christ.
I prithee now deliver them like a man of this world.
A photor for the world and worldling space. I speak of Africa and golden joys.
Oh, base Assyrian knight, what is thy news? Let King Cophetua know the truth thereof.
And Robin Hood,
Scarlet and John. Wait.
Oh, shall dunghill curs confront the Hellisons? And shall good news be baffled? Then, pistol, lie thy head in fury's lap.
Honest gentleman, I know not your breeding.
Why then, lament therefore.
Give me pardon, sir, if, sir, you come with news from the court. I take it there is but two ways, either to utter them or to conceal them. I am, sir, under the king in some authority.
Under which king, Bessonian? Speak or die.
Under King Harry.
Harry the Fourth or the Fifth?
Harry the Fourth.
A photor for thine office. Sir John, thy tender lamb king now is king. Harry the Fifth's the man, I speak the truth. when pistol eyes do this and fig me like the bragging Spaniard.
What? Is the old king dead?
As nail and all, the things I speak are just.
Away, Bardolph, saddle my horse. Master Robert Shallow, choose what office thou wilt in the land. 'Tis thine. Pistol, I will double charge thee with dignities.
Oh, joyful day, I would not take a knighthood for my fortune.
What? I do bring good news.
Carry Master Silence to bed. Master Shallow, my Lord Shallow, be what thou wilt. I am Fortune's steward. Get on thy boots, we'll ride all night. Oh, sweet Pistol, away, Bardolph. Come, Pistol, utter more to me, and withal devise something to do thyself good. Boot, boot, Master Shallow, I know the young king is sick for me. Let us take any man's horses. The laws of England are at my commandment. Happy are they which have been my friends, and woe unto my Lord Chief Justice.
Let vultures vile seize on his lungs also. Where is the life that late I led, say thee? Why, here it is. Welcome these pleasant days.
And they all run off. Do we need... We could probably skip 5 and 4 with Hostess quickly.
Oh, sure thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Fine, let's go 5-5 then. Let's go straight to 5-5. Let's stick with the lads. Stick with the lads. 5-5. Here come 2 grooms. Who'd like to be a groom?
More rushes, more rushes.
The trumpets have sounded twice.
It will be 2 o'clock here they come from the coronation. Dispatch,
And then they leave.
Dispatch.
And then in come the lads. Stand here by me, Master Robert Shallow. I will make the king do you grace. I will leer upon him as he comes by, and do but mark the countenance that he will give me.
God bless thy young lungs, young knight.
Come here, Pistol, stand by me. Oh, if I had time to have made new liveries, it would have bestowed the £1,000 I borrowed of you. But it is no matter. The poor show doth better. This doth infer the zeal I had to see him.
It doth so.
It shows my earnestness and affection,
It doth so.
my devotion,
It doth, it doth, it doth.
as if it were to ride day and night and not to deliberate, not to remember, not to have patience to shift me,
It is most certain.
but to stand stained with travel and sweating with desire to see him. Thinking of nothing else, putting all affairs in oblivion as if there were nothing else to be done but to see him.
'Tis semper idem, or obscur hoc nihil est. 'Tis all in every part.
'Tis so indeed.
My knight, I will inflame thy noble liver, and make thee rage. Thy dole, and Helen of thy noble thoughts, is in base durance and contagious prison. Hail it thither, by most mechanical and dirty hand. Rouse up vengeance from even then with fell electo snake, for a dole is in. Pistol speaks not but truth.
I will deliver her.
There roared the sea, and trumpet clangor sounds.
Dun 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 dun! Here comes King Henry V. He's walking past. All his lads are there, the royal lads. They're all there. And Falstaff says, "Save their grace! King Hal! My royal Hal!
The heavens thee guard and keep, most royal imp of Spain.
Save thee, my sweet boy!" And then Henry says, "My Lord Chief Justice, speak to that vain man. Have you your wits? Know what it is you speak? My king, my Jove, I speak to thee, my heart." "I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. How ill white hairs become a fool and jester. I have long dreamed of such a kind of man, so surfeit swelled, so old and so profane, but being awake, I do despise my dream. Make less thy body hence, and more thy grace. Leave gormandizing. Know the grave doth gape for thee thrice wider than for other men. Reply not to me with a fool-born jest. Presume not that I am the thing I was. For heaven doth know, so shall the world perceive, that I have turned away from my former self. So will I those that kept me company, when thou dost hear I am as I have been, approach me, and thou shalt be as thou wast, the tutor and the feeder of my riots. Till then, I banish thee, on pain of death, as I have done the rest of my misleaders. Not to come near our person by 10 mile, for competence of life I will allow you, but lack of means enforce you not to evil. And as we hear you do reform yourselves, we will, according to your strength and qualities, give you advancement. Be it your charge, my lord, to see performed the tenor of our word. Set on!" Master Shallow, I owe you £1,000. Shallow? I marry Sir John, which I beseech you not to let me have home with me. That's you. Shallow.
Yep.
Master John, I owe you £1,000.
Yea, marry Sir John, which I beseech you to let me have home with me.
That can hardly be, Master Shallow. Do not you grieve at this. I shall be sent for in private to him. Look you. He must seem thus to the world. Fear not your advancement. I will be the man yet that shall make you great.
I cannot perceive how, unless you give me your doublet and stuff me out with straw. I beseech you, good Sir John, let me have 500 of my 1,000.
Sir, I will be as good as my word. This that you heard was but a colour.
A colour? I fear that you will die in, Sir John.
Fear no colours. Go with me to dinner. Come, Lieutenant Pistol, come. Bardolph, I shall be sent for soon at night. Here comes Prince John, the Lord Chief Justice, and the officers. Go, carry Sir John Falstaff to the fleet. Take all his company along with him. My lord? I cannot now speak. I will hear you soon. Take them away.
Si fortune me tormenta, spero contenta.
Everybody leaves except Prince John and the Chief Justice. I like this fair proceeding of the king's. He hath intent his wonted followers shall all be very well provided for, but all are banished till their conversations appear more wise and modest to the world. And so they are. The king hath called his parliament, my lord. He hath. I will lay odds that ere this year expire we bear our civil swords and native fire as far as France. I heard a bird so sing, whose music to my thinking pleased the king. Come, will you hence? And then they leave. And then the epilogue comes in, because it's not long enough. You've got to have an epilogue. It says, first my fear, then my curtsy, last my speech. My fear is your displeasure, my curtsy my duty, and my speech to beg your pardons. If you look for a good speech now, you undo me, for what I have to say is of mine own making, and what indeed I should say will, I doubt, prove mine own marring. But to the purpose, and so to the venture. Be it known to you, as it is very well, I was lately here in the end of a displeasing play, to pray your patience for it, and to promise you a better. I did mean indeed to pay you with this, which, if like an ill venture it come unluckily home, I break, and you, my gentle creditors, lose. Here I promised you I would be, and here I commit my body to your mercies. Bate me some, and I will pay you some, and as most debtors do, promise you infinitely. If my tongue cannot entreat you to acquit me, will you command me to use my legs? And yet there were but light payment to dance out of your debt. But a good conscience will make any possible satisfaction, and so will I. All the gentlewomen here have forgiven me. If the gentlemen will not, then the gentlemen do not agree with the gentlewomen, which was never seen before in such an assembly. One word more, I beseech you. If you be not too much cloyed with fat meat, our humble author will continue the story, with Sir John in it, and make you merry with fair Catherine of France, where, for anything I know, Falstaff shall die of a sweat, unless already he be killed with your hard opinions. For old Castle died a martyr, and this is not the man. My tongue is weary, when my legs are too, I will bid you good night, and so kneel down before you, but indeed, to pray for the Queen. And that's the end of the play, and it's just hit me that those are probably words that Shakespeare came out and spoke himself, in front of everyone. Wow. 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 That's very cool. He comes out at the end and is like, hey, glad you liked the show. Smash that like button. Subscribe for Henry V. Cheers, Lizzie. Love it. Love it. Right, smash the follow me on Tumblr. Okay. That's the end of Henry IV part. Henry IV. It's the end of Henry IV. He's Henry V. Well, he's dead now, and now he's Henry V. If you've just joined us, as it seems that 400 people have, we are live streaming the complete works of Shakespeare to raise money for the Samaritans. They're a mental health charity. We've raised almost $38,000 for them, and we've got a lot more plays to go. So let me cross off Henry IV Part 2. Next up, let's do something a little bit more fun. We're gonna do Measure for Measure next. There is a list, an order running around somewhere, but we're kind of adapting it to sort of fit people from different time zones. So next up's going to be Measure for Measure, which is great. It's all about incels and having sex, or not having sex, as the case may be. And then probably after that, we're going to do Midsummer Night's Dream. Probably, depending on. I mean, measure for measure is quite. No, it depends how long it takes. But we'll do measure for measure. Hopefully, we're going to have a nice guest on to play some of the roles in that. Please do keep donating. I mean, as I said earlier on, I've been in touch with the Samaritans, and they are so grateful for everyone's support. I mean, like, we're knocking on the door of $40,000, which is an amazing amount of money, and like, it literally goes to like saving people's lives. I mean, I can testify that Samaritans save lives because they saved mine over a year ago. So, yeah, please do keep donating. Please do share it with your friends. We're going to be coming back in about 15 minutes with Measure for Measure, and I will see you all then. Thank you to everyone who helped me read the two Henrys, and see you all in 15 minutes.